Ladies and gentlemen, we have a big YouTube beef brewing between Tyler Oliveira, who you guys probably know for his videos where he goes to strange, weird, dangerous sometimes places and documents them.
My guide was nowhere in sight. I first thought I was setting myself up to get robbed.
And Vince Vintage, a YouTuber who makes more traditional video essay style content.
Tyler makes up to fit his narrative.
Now, I'm actually a big fan of Vince Vintage. I've seen a lot of his videos, and I also have seen a decent amount of Tyler's content, so I thought it would be interesting today to go through both videos, go through the initial exposed video that Vince made, go through Tyler's response, and see what I agree with, see what I disagree with.
And he hears a smoke alarm chirp in the background, and Tyler says this.
You can hear the fire alarm that hasn't been changed. That's a meme.
It is a meme.
Well, Tyler, where is that meme from? Oh, it's from 4chan, right here. New dog whistle just dropped. It also is a reference to memes like this.
Whoa! Just keep in mind as you watch this video, it's me responding to the videos and claims in real time, so before you get pissy at one thing I say about Vince or one thing I say about Tyler, at least wait until you've seen me watch the other guy's response until you jump to a conclusion, because I was just working with the available evidence as it came up. But yeah, that's about it. Enjoy. With that being said, let's get into the drama, okay? Let's investigate what's going on here. So, Tyler Oliveira is a YouTuber you guys have probably heard of. Very popular, but also, as of recent anyway, somewhat controversial. He's got 7 million subscribers. He's kind of like in that same genre as like Brandon Buckingham or Tommy G, okay? I mean, here we can see I investigated Tyler Oliveira exposing all the lies. This is his most recent response to the drama. But his most popular videos are I investigated the city of real-life zombies. I investigated the country where every drug is legal. Now, to be clear, all these titles and thumbnails are complete clickbait, but he does go to these places and he does do some interesting videos. My favorite video he did a while ago, I think the one that made me subscribe to him, was he went to Bohemian Grove, which, for those who don't know, is a place in the woods, I think, in California, where celebrities worship an owl god named Moloch. Alex Jones went there a long time ago, in like 2000 or something, right? A long, long time ago. And basically, Tyler Oliveira decided to go there as well to do some content, and it was pretty good, okay? He also made a video that I reacted to that I didn't really like, which, you know, we'll kind of explore that area. I reacted to it when it came out, but it was about the Haitians eating the dogs and the cats, okay? They're eating the dogs and the cats! And I kind of saw it as, like, I guess, journalism, because he was just going into this city, right, Springfield, Ohio, and he was covering the situation, and he was asking these guys on the street, these random civilians, like, did you see any dogs or cats, right? You see any dogs or cats being eaten? And there were multiple people who were like, oh, I saw them. This one guy was like, I saw a van come down the street and scoop up a bunch of cats, and then I saw the cops pull them over with the cats, and Tyler's like, really? That's crazy. And then just moves on without any real, like, there was no, like, commentary on whether or not that guy's telling the truth. You know what I mean? There was, like, literally no further follow-up on some of these crazy questions. And it was pretty annoying, okay? It was pretty annoying. I didn't like it. So, there's kind of a few perspectives on that. You can take it as like, oh, well, he's just documenting what they said. Or you can take it as like, well, he's not properly fact-checking their claims, right? I was not really a fan of it. But whatever the case, Chad. When it comes to Tyler Oliveira, obviously he's a very controversial guy because of the clickbait stuff, but also because I think he leans conservative, on the conservative side of politics, for sure. And as a result, he's gotten a lot of favorable reactions from Asmon Gold and some negative reactions from people like Boy, who's like they're like a socialist YouTube channel. I don't really know if they're socialists, but I do know that they hate cops, right? I do know that. So anyhow, okay, here's where all of this starts heating up a little bit. A channel called Vince Vintage made a video about Tyler Oliveira. So Vince Vintage made a video called Exposing Tyler Oliveira, YouTube's Biggest Liar. And this video kind of aims to call him a lazy journalist, a bad journalist. He even kind of calls him a racist at one point in time, right? He's painting a very interesting narrative, right? And the funny part about this is both of these people follow me on Twitter, okay? Vince Vintage follows me on Twitter, and I actually know Vince. Not super well, but I've met him a couple times. Hey, you got married. That's cute. And Tyler Oliveira also follows me on Twitter. So I'm mutuals with all of them, okay? I'm playing both sides. So realistically speaking, today we'll figure out which one of them is going to unfollow me, okay? We're going to figure out which one of them is going to respond to me and destroy me in the marketplace of ideas. Racist versus liberal. That's the debate. Racist Tyler Oliveira, Jew hater, known N-word sayer, versus the Hitler of the left. They often call him Vince Vintage. If you guys don't know that, Vince Vintage, his nickname in some circles is the Hitler of the left. So we've got like a Hitler of the left versus like a Stalin of the right type thing. It's going to be a crazy conversation, going to be a crazy allegation happening here. And we're going to have to see how it goes. Okay? Starting with exposing Tyler Oliveira, YouTube's biggest liar.
Topics that
YouTube's biggest liar. Not his smallest, his biggest. Hold on. Switch this one to this. Okay. But we're doing the Nicholas Diorio format today because I want to play video games while we watch this. Why does YouTube always auto-set at the top chat? So annoying. Got a real complicated format today. Wes Watson beat the shit out of a special needs kid. Base! The first good thing he's done, dude. The first good thing he's ever done. Glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. So here we go. Exposing Tyler Oliveira, YouTube's biggest grifter.
Now this here is Tyler Oliveira, YouTuber turned investigative journalist. With 7 million subscribers, Tyler's had quite a bit of impact on the world, with hit videos such as cat-eating Haitians in Springfield, Ohio, or neo-Nazis uprising in Germany. His investigative work into hot-button political situations reaches hundreds of millions of people. Now, while Tyler claims his videos raise awareness of the problems in our world,
We are informing people about current events, topics that the broader public needs to be aware of.
and that he's YouTubified news and journalism,
We've YouTubified traditional news and documentarian content.
and while his fans state that Tyler's one of the greatest journalists of our time, that he's unbiased, assertive
Set it to theater mode? Oh, look at that. I forgot about theater mode. That's way better. All right, GG, whoever suggested that. Genius.
for the truth, I'm here to tell you today that this is all a big lie. In my opinion, Tyler pushes hoaxes for truth, dehumanizes people for clicks and views, and manufactures fake videos to sell to hundreds of millions of people as hard-hitting journalism. In my opinion, Tyler only throws gasoline on the problems in America, all in the name to get clicks and views. Today we are going to expose who Tyler Oliveira really is. Because whether you're left-leaning, right-leaning, you like Tyler, you hate him, I think everyone can agree that a lie is bad. And when those lies are pushed to hundreds of millions of people as the unbiased truth, I would say there's a little bit more than just a problem. Now normally,
So I'm kind of curious where he's going to go as far as this direction, because from watching Tyler's videos, I would definitely say he's very sensationalist, right? Like he kind of posits himself as like, we're doing on-the-ground journalism, right? This is like, you know, journalism content, independent journalism. And like to an extent, there is an aspect of that for sure, but he's also very sensationalist in the way that, you know, a story pops off on like Twitter or something that will have a lot of unverified claims and he'll run right there to try and see what's going on. But that's not the sensationalist part. The sensationalist part is that he doesn't really get to the bottom of it. Like he posits it as an investigation, but he usually doesn't have a very strong conclusion. He kind of just goes there. He's like with the cat video, right? He went there. He talked to a bunch of like, I don't know what you would call them. I mean, kind of like rednecky type guys, right? Living in Springfield, Ohio, who are, you know, understandably expressing some qualms about the new population of Haitians there, which makes sense because there's a lot of Haitians that have moved in there. And, you know, any place that's suddenly getting a lot of, any population that lives in one area with a small population and a large new population moves there is going to be slightly peeved about that, and that makes sense. But I think that the difference is that what Tyler did is he interviewed a bunch of these people, and a bunch of them made insane claims. Like I said, one guy there, okay, this guy he was interviewing in his front lawn, he was like, hey, did you ever hear anything about the Haitians eating cats? And the guy was like, yeah, I literally saw a truck come around the corner, okay? The truck picked up a bunch of cats. They had hundreds of cats in this van with the Haitians. They were getting ready to eat them. And then the cops came and pulled them over, right? And then Tyler's like, really? Did that happen? And the guy's like, yeah, that happened. And then Tyler, like, never looked for a police report, never tried to verify if that was happening, never tried to get to the bottom of the matter. Like, I think it's okay to cover these very controversial issues, and I even think it's important to represent that side, right? Like, what, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, you know, the quote-unquote far-right side of it. I don't think that guy on his lawn was really thinking in a very far-right way. I think he was just probably talking out of his ass about this supposed cat kidnapping van, serial cat kidnapping van that got pulled over by the cops all of a sudden, despite there being no record of it. But I just would have liked to see a little more pushback on that, not even just for the sake of, like, oh, he needs to dispute the chuds, but just for the sake of, like, actually getting to the bottom of the situation. Like, if you just interview random people and you don't try to verify the claims, I mean, that could easily be seen as lazy journalism. And if Tyler wants to posit himself as, like, a sensationalist political, you know, version of TMZ, that'd be fine. But that's not what he does. He posits himself as, like, a real journalist, right? Did he ever agree with them, though? The thing is, like, you don't have to necessarily explicitly agree with someone to clearly be just propagating their ideas, right? Like you don't have to be like, I 100% agree with this person. I'm not even saying that he needs to, like, debate them in real time. I would just like to see some fact checking for some of the claims made. And I was a little bit pissed off that that wasn't happening. You know, I was watching this video and I was like, all these people are saying this about the cats being eaten, right, in Springfield. He had like 3 or 4 people maybe in the video who said that that happened. Not one single verified claim was included in that video. And I found that kind of frustrating, you know? I felt like that was kind of, I mean, at the most charitable interpretation, kind of rushed.
I don't make exposed videos, but after me and Tyler got into a little Twitter spat, it led me down a rabbit hole of his content that I thought was so twisted and sick that I thought the entire world should know about it. And I'm so surprised that all of this stuff I'm going to talk about has never been mentioned before online. Now, I'm not going to talk about Tyler's drama with Soft White Underbelly, Brent Riviera, the Las Vegas Tunnel people. Everything in this video is newfound stuff that I've discovered over the past 4 or 5 months. So, before we get going, Tyler, I am not trying to cancel you.
I dream of people come for the cancellation. Bring it. Please cancel me. Please.
I'm not trying to take you off the platform. I'm not even going to call you a racist, a Hitler, Tyler Oliveira.
I think when you start throwing around the R word, the conversation becomes a lot more difficult.
I'm just going to call you for what you really are, a liar. So today, let's discover who Tyler Oliveira really is. Now, Tyler's journalism consists of him going into hot-button political situations, talking to both sides, and always coming to the conclusion that whatever city he's in, it's ending all of a sudden, that it's the worst place he's ever seen. Now, these videos are seen by hundreds of millions of people. People actually take these in for journalism. But this is all just a facade. Now, let's go to his video, Oakland, where every crime is legal. Now, this video consists of Tyler going to Oakland, California, talking all about the car break-ins and how they've gone up 50 million % or whatever it is.
This is Oakland, California.
The owner of this property is not responsible for any theft or vandalism. The owner of this property is not responsible for
Lawlessness, crime, homelessness, police giving up.
And the whole video essentially boils down to, if you come to Oakland, your car will get broken into. So just keep that in mind. Now, in the beginning of the video, we see Tyler at a gas station, and we can hear overhead this audio playing.
owner of
Tom did so bad on zombies with Nick and Augie and Chud, he has to play while reacting to videos. L starts of the year. What do you mean I have to? What do you mean I have to? I'm obligated. It's a legal obligation. Maybe I enjoy it. Maybe despite being bad at the game, I do enjoy playing it, okay? You ever thought about that, buddy? That ever crossed your mind? I'm curious, what does the chat think about Tyler Oliveira's videos? Because I definitely have enjoyed some of them, and I've even enjoyed watching the ones that I disagree with quite a bit. But I will say, I think he is very sensationalist, and he does paint these places as probably being worse than they really are. When I see the Ohio Cats one, yeah, that was probably the most egregious one I saw. I did see there was one where he was the one that Boy reacted to, where he was kind of being rather disrespectful to some of the homeless guys he was interviewing. Which on one hand, true, you're homeless, get a home, what's wrong with you? But he was walking right into their tents, not even really asking them, and just sticking a camera in their face. I don't know, it was a little bit crazy. It wasn't a game ender for me in terms of his career. I don't think the majority of people will really care. I'm Polish and right wing, but I can't make myself watch This Country Kills Immigrants video. Oh, you mean the video he made that's This Country Kills Illegal Immigrants? I didn't really watch that video all the way through, but like I said, with most of his titles, I assume his titles are a little bit facetious. This is where the doggies come. Doggy. Only watch it if the algo sends it my way. Well, the algo's definitely sending it your way because he has been growing a lot on YouTube over the past year or so. The thing is, I don't even think that the clickbait is the biggest problem from his videos. I don't think that's the biggest issue. I think the problem is that the clickbait carries into the content, right? The content is very, very sensationalistic in nature. And I get that he's I don't think he's been doing YouTube for that long, but he's got 7 million subs. It's kind of past the point where it's oh, he just started out, Can you pretty please re-enable channel memberships? I didn't disable them. They're on. You can become a channel member right now. You just have to do it on PC instead of mobile. That might be your issue.
this property is not responsible for any theft or vandalism.
Now, if you're at a gas station and they're playing that overhead, it's got to be pretty bad with the car break-ins. So we see Tyler vlogging around, and then we see the next shot of this Kia. And if we look on the dash, you can see a PS5 with the PS5 controller. Why would someone leave a PS5 on their dash at the gas station where they're overhead playing? Your car is going to get broken into. But let's continue on. Now, in the next shot, we see the same Kia. And if we look on the dash, we can see that same PS5 and the controller. Now, why would Tyler be filming this from far away? Maybe maybe Tyler was trying to bait someone into breaking into this car. That seems like a crazy theory. How could we know that that's Tyler's car? Well, later on in this video, Tyler gets a parking ticket.
While the police may not do anything if you break into someone's car, commit Grand Theft Auto, steal an ATM, or beat and rob an old lady on the street, if you park on the side of the street and don't pay the meter, you will be fined and punished.
We got a $61 parking ticket.
And he complains that, wow, people could break into cars and do drugs, but I get a parking ticket. Well, if you look at that parking ticket a little closer, oh, we could see it's the same license plate that is on the car at the gas station. So Tyler went to the store, bought a PS5, put it on the dash, left his car out, and hid out in a little bush trying to capture someone breaking into his car. Tyler is...
Oh. Okay, this is like the... it's not quite as egregious, but... Do you guys remember when Joey Salads, he did this video? He like brought a Trump car, right? Well, I say Trump car. He brought a car with lots of Trump memorabilia, stickers, stuff like that on it, right? He brought that car to a black neighborhood. He then filmed a bunch of black guys who like destroyed it all of a sudden, right? But as it turned out, the black guys who destroyed the car were hired actors. And so Tyler's kind of trying to do the same thing here, but instead he's not hiring actors to go do it, right? He's just trying to bait some kind of robbery to go on. I mean, it's not, I think it's a particularly good thing to do, but I don't know. It's not quite on the same level as Joey Salads. Not quite on the same level.
Is baiting someone into breaking into his car to try to capture it on footage. Because what would make the ultimate footage for Tyler? Oh my god, I went to Oakland, California, and the break-ins are so bad that my car got broken into. And clearly, no one broke into it, because who would be dumb enough? Clearly looks like some like cop sting operation. This is like levels of like faking a prank video times 10. But when you're trying to pass this off as actual news footage, on the ground journalism, I would say that's not something a truthful journalist would do. And after catching this right here, it really made me think, could I seriously trust anything in Tyler's videos? Is this something that a investigative journalist would do, leave a PS5 in one of the highest car breaking areas in the country? I don't think so. Like, what the like? And Tyler still used this footage. That's what blows my mind. And didn't think anyone would find this. Like, look at that. It is a PS5 combo package deal with the controller on the dash. How dumb are you? Like, Tyler went to Best Buy and was considering, like, should I just get the PS5? No, I should get the PS5 and the controller. Someone would definitely break into a car for the controller as well. So, throughout the rest of this video, just think about this. This is how far Tyler's willing to go to make a good story.
We've YouTubeified traditional news.
All right, I feel like we're meandering on this point a little bit. I do get what he's saying. Okay, I understand what Vince is saying, but at the same time, like, at the end of the day, if he goes to the hood or wherever he is, right? If he goes to Oakland, if he puts the PlayStation on the dashboard, which nobody would ever do, it's not a realistic, like, if you're trying to do like some kind of scientific documentation of the situation, this is not a very like realistic thing that would happen where somebody just leaves a PS5 and a controller on the dash, right? If it gets robbed, it still happens, right? It still does happen. So I feel like it's not the worst thing in the world. In a documentary, placing something and forcing a situation is usually bad. I mean, I agree for sure, but I just don't think that this is as strong of a point as like Vince thinks it is. I get that this is like his first thing, so we're gonna have to watch more of the video, but I don't think that putting a PlayStation on the dashboard is like the worst thing Tyler's done, probably, or even close, or really matters that much. So I probably would have left this point out of the video.
In documentarian content,
Yeah.
basically.
Like, you bought the controller. Why would you buy the controller as well?
Imagine defending criminals and saying, oh, you let your stuff be in the car. What do you expect? And then saying you're in the wrong. I mean, that's not really what Vince is doing. Vince isn't defending the criminals. He's just saying, like, this is journalism. That's basically what he's saying.
So let's go to Tyler's video, Oakland, where every crime is legal. Now, Tyler's videos start out with him flying to the place, checking it out, talking to both sides, and he'll intersperse news clips or relevant news footage of these events happening in that city.
With 1 of every 30 residents having their car stolen last year, a 38% increase in robberies, 23% increase in burglaries, and 44% increase in motor vehicle theft.
Because frankly, when Tyler goes to these places, it's not as bad as he always wants it to be. So by Tyler showing all these news clips, it could seem way worse than what it really is. Now, Tyler is passing this along as actual information, that this is actually how the city is. Now, these news clips are always from the city that Tyler's in. Or are they? In this Oakland video, Tyler brings along this prestigious reporter, Darren Stalcup.
I met up with Bay Area native and investigative journalist Darren Stalcup to hit the streets and see what's really going
Wait, so what about that point about the news footage? We just say the news footage isn't from there and then don't. I feel like you should probably, at that point in time, I would have like elaborated more on that.
on in Oakland.
Tyler shows clips of him going on Fox News, that he's been all around town investigating the homeless crisis within Oakland, California. Now, this guy
looks like if you put me through the Chad filter. This looks like if you put me through the Chad filter, this guy.
isn't a journalist. He's actually a used car salesman who pulled a $7,000 GoFundMe scam a couple
Whoa.
months.
Apparently people are gullible enough to give more than $7,000 to an able-bodied young man just to move to another apartment. Help Darren move from the Tenderloin. It's with a heavy heart that I'm saying goodbye to my apartment in Tenderloin. I can no longer live in a neighborhood where I'm constantly tripping over bodies, fecal, and needles. Our community has become uninhabitable. This is a humanitarian crisis. My apartment has been broken into multiple times. All the stores have been ransacked. Living in the Tenderloin has been a traumatizing experience, and it is time to move. However, times are tough and moving is difficult. I'm respectfully asking for your support to raise $6,000, which I believe is a modest goal, will be more than enough for me to relocate immediately. Thank you. That's actually pretty funny. I didn't know Tenderloin was a place you could live. Why are you gay? Great question. Wait, so he raised like $7,500 to move? Really? He raised $7,500 to move? Is it that bad in Tenderloin? Is anyone from Tenderloin in chat? Can you attest? Is this guy living in a war zone?
Earlier.
I talk a lot about right-wing grifters in my videos, but this week Fox hosted one that was so lazy. I'm honestly kind of impressed. This guy, Darren Mark Stalcup, is trying to raise $10,000 to move from the Tenderloin neighborhood of San Francisco to another neighborhood in San Francisco.
I'm currently looking at the Chinatown neighborhood, but I'm open to other districts as well.
And it's actually working.
Yeah, he moved from one part of San Francisco to another. I don't understand why he needed to do a GoFundMe to move. This seems like pretty no.
I looked into this guy a little more, and he has another GoFundMe, also for $10,000, but this one is trying to achieve world peace. So either
What? Warrior on the front lines of the Bay Area. My official speech is San Francisco City Hall. World Peace Movement addressing fentanyl, showing up on playgrounds and in schools, as well as asking if local San Francisco leaders living on top of the hill have ever had to fight for their lives. You need $10,000 to do that? You need $10,000 to go to city council and ask them questions?
their world peace is like a lot cheaper than I thought, or, and far more likely, he just wants $10,000.
But let's continue on. So the used car salesman's riding around with Tyler, and all of a sudden he brings up how he's seen kids as young as 7 years old walking around with guns in Oakland. Now that sounds pretty wild. Tyler then shows this news.
It's Omega. The guy seems fine. He's good looking. No issue in speaking. I don't get what. Okay. Him being good looking or having no issue with speaking has nothing to do with the GoFundMe being good or not. I don't think that the GoFundMe has literally any bearing. I don't think his looks have anything to do with whether or not this is justified GoFundMe.
Clip on screen.
I don't know why we're being followed when there's no doubt criminal activity left, right, and center.
A lot of the kids have guns now, so when I'm walking around, I'm not looking for some 25-year-old guy with a gun.
Watch out, 13-year-olds out here.
I'm looking for.
Damn, this place looks like a shithole.
So when the reporter brings
In fairness, that does look like, I mean, this is Oakland. This is not San Francisco, but that does look like a shithole. That does look like a complete shithole wherever they are.
up kids with guns in Oakland, Tyler intersplices a news clip of a teen in trouble that we're led to believe is from
This guy's like the Edgar Bollcut guy. Base.
Oakland. Because frankly, Tyler doesn't see the kids with guns, so he's got to show news clips to prove that this is actually happening. But what if I was to tell you that this news clip he shows as evidence isn't from Oakland, but from Miami, Florida, 2 years ago? But Tyler passes it off as this is what's happening in Oakland. Even though we can't see the kids with guns, we'll just take his word for it. Teen in trouble. Sounds really bad. But let's continue on. Maybe this is just a little mistake. So Tyler and Darren are talking to a business owner, and they bring up all of the machine guns that are in Oakland, and that's why crime is up. It is so horrible up there. Oakland is so bad that people have machine guns and they're walking around. Mind you, it's California. Like, the gun laws are insane here. And then Tyler shows this clip a scary black man with machine gun manhunt in the corner.
I believe it's necessary for law-abiding citizens to have the means and capability to defend themselves. As you know, all the criminals out here have guns, so I have no problem with you. And I actually feel safer.
Machine guns?
And we're led to believe this is actually happening in Oakland. But this clip isn't from Oakland. It's from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Once again, Tyler is literally making
Yeah, I mean, that is pretty bad because the way that Tyler's painting it is like, and there might be a lot of gun crime there that he could easily show news broadcast clips from or something, but that is pretty bad, right? Because realistically what he's doing here is he goes to a place where he has like this like predetermined narrative. He asks a bunch of people on the street about it. They talk to him, and then he just throws in a bunch of news clips. And that's really what, like, he's not really getting to the bottom of anything. He's just interviewing a bunch of random people on the street. He's not really doing like amazing journalistic content. He goes there with a narrative in mind. He asks them questions. It's just the wrong B-roll. It's not like he's making it out to be. But you say it's just the wrong B-roll, but like he's painting it as if this city is like a gun-infested hellhole, which it very much may be. But if it is, you should easily be able to get the actual clips, right? Like if it is a place like that, you should easily be able to get the actual clips that discuss the situation. I feel like it shouldn't be that difficult, right? He's verifying whether the news are true or not by asking the residents. But like the resident, it's just testimony from one guy. Like the residents aren't gonna. If I go on the street and I ask some random guy if there's purple Oompa Loompas running around and he tells me yes, does that mean it is happening? Is that like verifying the situation? You know what I mean? Like, not really. And like you have to at least get the city right with the B-roll. You know what I mean? In Tyler's video, he literally said he could do better about that. Oh, well then he admitted that the criticism was true, right? If he says he's trying to get his editors to be better, then Vince is right.
Up to push a narrative. And this is in nearly every video Tyler releases. Let's go to Tyler's video where he goes to Memphis, the most violent city in America.
That is a crazy thumbnail. The city's like a war zone. It looks like the Batwing just came through. All right, in Batman v Superman. Guys, this is just like my soy Marvel movie or my soy DC movie. Okay, looks like the Batwing just came through and lit it up.
America. In the beginning, Tyler shows this clip of two scary black men robbing a car in a gas station, and we're led to believe this is from Memphis.
This is Memphis, the most violent city in America.
But it's not. It's from Chicago PD. And Tyler even goes out of his way to cut out the Chicago PD in the upper left-hand corner. So Tyler deliberately knew what he was doing. Now, normally I wouldn't really care about this type of thing, but Tyler is using all of these violent images and video to pass off a narrative that these places that he visits are so horrible.
Yeah, he's painting a narrative. And if the thing is, like, if you want to do videos like this with these like really, you know, less than super nice cities, I certainly have heard a lot of bad things about Memphis and the crime there from the few people I know from the South, right? If you want to do that kind of video, you can do it, but you have to at least use the right news clips, right? And I'll say also, whenever I've seen him interview people, it seems like he's asking very leading questions, you know? Like Vince Vintage actually on Twitter, he put up a very good clip from a Tyler video that was pretty convincing, I would say. Let me pull this up. Yeah, here we go. Tyler Oliveira's inner monologue. Please say black men, please say black men, please say black men.
Where are you from?
Rome. Italy, yeah.
Do you feel safer as a woman?
Yes, yeah.
Do you feel safe in Rome as a woman? Or Italy, sorry?
No, not at all.
Why?
It's not safe.
Why is it not safe?
Because we don't feel safe like walking alone at night.
Who are you afraid of at night?
Men.
Which men? Men in general or specific types of men who come from different places?
Like men.
Italian men?
Yeah.
Okay. They don't need it. They can buy their own. Why do you think they feel unsafe in Rome? Let's be honest.
Because of Africans. They are afraid to say.
Like, you see, it's a very, he's trying to get him to be like, the black people, the African immigrants, the blacks. Like, it's an extremely leading question, you know? If you want to do a video and you want to make the claim that there's some kind of migrant crisis, you want to make the claim that this is going on, that people there are afraid, and that is the situation, it shouldn't be that hard to get people to just say that out loud, right? If you're asking random people on the street. Now, asking random people on the street isn't necessarily going to get you to the bottom of a situation, because at the end of the day, a lot of what they say are just going to be pure speculation, you know, pure personal anecdotes, right? They're making up, like in the cat video, stuff along those lines. But at the very least, you have to allow them to answer honestly instead of like trying to ask these very leading questions where you're clearly trying to get one kind of answer, right? That video specifically about Poland's migrant crisis is not trying to get people to say black men. Dude, I'm sorry. You're just so wrong, dude. He literally is asking them, what kind of guys? Where are they from? Where are the people from? Are you scared of people from that place? Can you say it out loud? And the next clip is this guy saying it's the Africans. Like, come on, dude. That is literally what they're saying. The man responsible for the crime rate, Camden Gerard Davis. That's true. Yeah, it's clearly the kind of answer this guy's trying to get, right? Like, you can't deny that.
Was the Memphis the most violent city in America? In the beginning, Tyler shows this clip of two scary black men robbing a car in a gas station, and we're led to believe this is from Memphis.
This is Memphis, the most violent city in America.
But it's not. It's from Chicago PD, and Tyler even goes out of his way to cut out the Chicago PD in the upper left-hand corner. So Tyler deliberately knew what he was doing. Now, normally...
That was taken out of context. The Polish politician was like, they won't say who it really is, so Tyler asked the questions in that manner to prove the politician's point. But, like, you have to realize, like, the girls... That doesn't prove his point. If anything, it disproves it. Because he keeps asking them to answer the question, and they're not answering it because they don't feel that way. Like, are you just saying, like, they're lying to him? Is that it? Like, to believe that it's taken out of context, you must believe that those girls specifically are lying to him, and you can get inside their head, right? They say Italian men. They literally say Italian. And he's like, what do you really mean by that? What do you really mean by that? Like, the point you're making assumes that the answer the girls really want to give is that they're scared of the African guys, right? But you can't just assume that. That's not what journalism is. You can't go in with a narrative. You have to go in with no assumptions and then draw conclusions based on what you actually find.
I wouldn't really care about this type of thing, but Tyler is using all of these violent images and video to pass off a narrative that these places that he visits are so horrible. And it's really being used to just make up shit about the city. Because frankly, it's not as bad as he wants it to be.
Or asking women anyways? Yeah, exactly. They're never going to tell the truth.
And when you're at the point of having to use random news footage to sell off this narrative, I would say that's not really the unbiased truth or investigative journalism. But it doesn't end there with Tyler. In his video, I investigated the gun violence capital of America, aka Chicago, Tyler shows this clip when the man's talking about petty theft in Chicago.
But all the crime down here is just like petty theft, breaking into cars, go to certain neighborhoods.
Now, petty theft is non-violent theft that is under $500. It isn't some burglary or mugging or whatever. But while this guy's talking about petty theft, Tyler then shows this clip to almost disprove the guy. Like, wow, he's talking about petty theft, but clearly there's 4 black men robbing a car in the middle of Chicago.
Either that or Tyler just doesn't know what petty theft is. Once again, like, everything I've heard about Chicago is that it's like, especially, is it the South Side? I think the South Side is the one they say. That's where, like, the hood is. I've always been told it's a very place to be, and it very well could be, and there probably is a bunch of crime there. I think they have a very high rate of violent gun crime. But, like, if that is the case, you should just be able to pull up news articles from the actual area, right? Like, it shouldn't be that difficult. Yeah, O-Block. I've been watching you for years while I eat, and every time I pause the video, I give you a bite of what I'm eating. Oh, okay.
That sounds pretty wild. But once again, this clip isn't from Chicago. It's from Houston, Texas, 4 years ago.
Bro, Tyler is right. But the conversation isn't about whether or not Tyler is right. The question is whether or not Tyler is telling the truth. If he's right, it shouldn't be difficult to not misrepresent the situation. Like, if Tyler is right, if he's so right, if there's so much of this going on, there should be plenty of evidence to just be able to show it, right?
I can do this all day long. Tyler makes up to fit his narrative. And when that narrative is being used as the unbiased truth or journalism, I would say that's pretty bad, in my opinion. But let's just continue on. Or let's go to Tyler's video. I investigated the murder capital of America, New Orleans. Now, Tyler's talking about living a life of crime, and he shows this clip on screen.
A lot of people die due to gun violence. With murders happening every day, countless kids are left without strong parental figures, get raised by the streets, live a life of crime, have a few...
Wow, a black man just shooting someone in the middle of the day? Oh my god, New Orleans is absolutely horrible. But that clip literally says it's from New York.
Well, in fairness with that one, it doesn't seem like he's necessarily trying to hide it, right? If this one literally says New York on the screen, it seems more like he was genuinely using this as B-roll. But I would still say that it would be better to, like, use relevant B-roll to the situation, right? To the actual place.
That is how lazy Tyler is with this content. He is just taking random violent imagery.
There's plenty of evidence this is going on in these cities. This guy's saying it's intentional. Tyler's claiming it's a mistake from his editors to use the wrong B-roll. But, like, I don't know how you can, like, miss it this many times. Like, how could it be a mistake? Like, the editors literally look up like news broadcast. Like, what are they looking up? Like violent crime news broadcasts. Like, you can tell in any news clip where it's coming from, right? The YouTube channel will say the station that it's from. The clips will say where it's happening, right? Like, I don't think it's a mistake. I think it's probably just laziness. At the end of the day, like, it is Tyler's obligation what gets posted on his channel, right?
Putting it in his videos and trying to sell it off as this is the truth.
Our goal is simply to educate, inform, and entertain, and hopefully do all three at once. We're boots on the ground, as they say, balls deep, trenches thick.
Is this really what a journalist would do? Let's go to Tyler's Sweden video. Sweden, inside the country that pays immigrants $34,000 to leave. Now in this video, Tyler's interviewing a Muslim activist, and Tyler asked the question, is Islam's values maybe not compatible with Sweden?
Of Islam conflict with Swedish society and Swedish law?
And while the lady goes into Islam and all these other countries, but when Tyler goes to the part of her talking about Islam in Sweden, Tyler shows this video on screen.
The way someone see Islam in Afghanistan or in Somalia or in Iran or in Sweden is obviously different.
And we're led to believe, wow, while this lady is talking about Islam being peaceful, they are protesting, oh my god, and there's an ISIS flag. Clearly that isn't just a peaceful protest that they have ISIS flags in Sweden. But once again, this clip isn't from Sweden. It's from Malaysia. And I could do this all goddamn day long, Tyler. It's nearly in all of your videos you are passing this off as the truth. Because frankly, when Tyler goes to these places, it's not as bad as he wants it to be.
Yeah. I mean, as far as what he's actually able to document, that does seem to be the case. And so as a result, he's kind of, like, you could say it's a mistake from the editors, but realistically, he is coaching the editors. He's approving their edits, right? So I think it's clear he is trying to paint a narrative that's like, let's say it is entirely accurate. It's not the narrative that he actually got when he saw there. And so it wasn't nearly as sensationalist as he wants it to be. Is there white crime B-roll or am I smoking penis? I don't know. I haven't seen any. This is such bad faith criticism. How is it bad faith criticism, Sansage? I'm curious. Just hire editors is clearly their fault. I mean, it's like his channel, right? It's still his channel. So, like, if he puts it up, it's still his fault. Like, he's supposed to be approving everything that goes on his channel, right? I would probably say that a lot of these places that Tyler is visiting are probably shitholes with a lot of violent crime. But, like, he should be able to just show that instead of, like all he does is just ask random people on the street questions, get their personal anecdotes, and then, which, like, are unproven completely. And then he, like, gets a bunch of B-roll and puts it in the video. From different cities, right? It's bad faith because it's a nothing burger. I don't think B-roll is that big of a deal. But by saying it's like just B-roll, you're not really acknowledging the reality of the situation, right? Like by saying it's just B-roll, you're not really totally acknowledging what's actually going on, which is that he goes to these cities with a preconceived notion, seemingly, right? With a narrative in mind. And when he doesn't quite get it, he has to pad it with a bunch of B-roll from different cities to show how violent it actually is. Like the B-roll is a big deal. And like you can say like, oh, well, you know, it's up to the audience how they take it. But like, Tyler is making a video that paints the city in a certain way. Like he has a thumbnail that shows that it's like a city that's burning and on fire. Then he uses a bunch of B-roll from different cities to sensationalize it, right? Like this is like a very cringe thing. This is something that if somebody on the left was doing it, I think that probably Tyler would have a big issue with it. He's nitpicking tiny details and painting a larger narrative about maliciousness, but in reality, he's accidentally making small mistakes that don't really affect the video as a whole. But like, you say that, like, this is not a small mistake, though. Like, a lot of the videos include a lot of B-roll, and he's trying to paint a certain narrative about that place, right? He's asking people questions about what's going on while showing B-roll from different cities that aren't even happening there to supplement it. He, like, when the guy's talking about petty theft, right? And that guy, like Vince showed, that guy was trying to be like, oh, you know, it's mostly petty theft. It's not, like, super serious crime. He shows videos of, like, guys with guns going up to cars. Like, this does affect the video as a whole. This is, like, the essence of the video is this. It's intellectual dishonesty. It's not accidental when he literally crops the name of the city out of the news clips. Yeah, of course it's not. How much the B-roll from different cities? I mean, Vince just showed like 10 different examples. That's enough. That's pretty bad. Like if it was once or twice among like 100 videos, we're like, okay, fine. But it's so many of them. In the same video, he's got multiple examples.
Just trying to get like some views on social media. So do you have some idea or do you want to get detained for obstruction?
I mean, you can detain me, but am I under arrest? And if so, for what charges?
Harassment.
You're gonna arrest me right now?
Said you're being detained, sir.
Whoa. That's, you can't do that. You can't do that.
Are you going to identify yourself or not?
Okay, I'm on public property.
Are you going to identify
You can't strong arm me.
Yes or no?
We're going to court over this if you want.
And once again, let me be clear. Is this what a really thorough investigative journalist would do? Be so lazy with the content that they make that they're just throwing in random news clips of as we've seen right now, only black guys committing crimes, all to amplify the video and make it seem as horrible as possible. Is that what a journalist would do? I don't think so. Now, I know Tyler is intentionally doing this because I've back-checked a lot of his videos, and a lot of the news clips are from the city that Tyler's in. And these are just a few of the examples that I found. But trust me, it takes a hell of a lot of time trying to back-source like where these news clips are from, especially when Tyler doesn't show the title or link any sources in his videos. So this is just a few that I found. I can't even imagine how many more there are. Now, beyond using random news clips as actual evidence of all of these cities falling apart, what about the other lies Tyler has in his videos? Now let's go to his one video. Tyler investigates the murder capital of the world, Jamaica. Now, Tyler makes it a point that it is so dangerous here. It's the murder capital of the world.
This is Jamaica, the murder capital of the world.
That's a big old knife. Have you?
So he has to hire a local guide to protect him and show him around. Now, walking around the town, Tyler says this.
I'm going over the farm.
The farm?
The farm. That is a farm.
Right over there.
Yeah, we can go over there. Come.
While my guide was nowhere in sight, I first thought I was setting myself up to get robbed. But it turns out, this guy was giving me a full tour of the community with unexpected hospitality.
Alright, we're visiting the garden right now. A little baby young mango. Is this where you make
A little baby young mango.
the juice?
So,
Is this where you make the juice? I want to try that juice. It's probably good, dude. I bet Jamaicans make fire juice. Give me that juice right out of the bottle.
I'm thinking, oh my god, Tyler's gonna get murdered. Tyler's in the murder capital of the world without his guide. Oh my god, he's gonna die, he's gonna get robbed. Seems pretty bad. But let's watch this interaction from a different angle.
Is this where you make the juice?
Yes.
Thank you. Oh, so this is what we just tried.
Oh, okay. That's Tyler's cameraman. That's clearly this.
So who's filming? So this isn't from his video. Where is this from then? Do you with Shadow the Hedgehog? Sure.
Same thing going on. Where's this camera angle from? Oh, it's almost like his guide was right there.
Oh, no, dude. That is pretty much lying. No? That is lying, I would say. Come on. Tyler made a response video about this guy's criticism and acknowledged he messed up the B-rolls. You've accidentally made small mistakes in your videos over the past 2 years. It's understandable. Tyler could make a few mistakes over 2 years. His B-roll is largely from the same city. But sans rage, like you're saying it's largely from the same city, and I just watched Vince show like 10 different examples. And like small mistakes is fair. And I definitely have made small mistakes, but this is not small mistakes. This is like example after example after example after example of him showing, first of all, the B-roll was not accurate. And secondly, he's straight up lying right here. Like, this is not a mistake. This is like an intentional lie to construct a different narrative for the video. Like, this is not what happened. And if it was like a less important issue, like if the issue was like, I'm documenting the best toy store in the world, like it'd be like, okay, whatever. Like, it's not a huge deal, right? But like, this is like documenting crime, right? This is documenting how much criminality is going on and how dangerous Jamaica is, right?
Took this footage, but Tyler had to sell it off is that his guide was nowhere to be seen and that Tyler was going to get murdered.
While my guide was nowhere in sight, I first thought I was setting myself up to get robbed.
Tyler's guide...
His guide was behind him. His guide was there. Literally there.
Posted a 2-hour-long vlog of their entire day, and the guide was there the entire time. Tyler...
When it comes to Chicago, it shouldn't be hard to get good B-roll. Just look at the statistics that come from that city. I can't understand why he would lie about it. Well, I think it's just because it's just pure laziness. He wants to get the videos out faster, right? That's why. It doesn't help that Tyler's marketing himself as an investigative journalist. Yeah, exactly. Tom jumping to conclusions. What conclusion did I jump to, lowercase g? Curious. What conclusion did I jump to? Do you think I have a vested interest in hating Tyler Oliveira? I'm just watching the evidence that Vince is presenting. Unless Vince is lying about all of this. Like, Tyler just doing what every reporter does. Well, if every reporter does this, then every reporter should be out of a job or not be called a reporter, probably. Oh, well, the other guys do it too. Like, so what? Watch Tyler's response? Well, I will after I watch this.
Tyler wasn't walking on his own about to get murdered. That was all just made up.
While my guide was nowhere in sight, I first thought I was setting myself up to get robbed.
And this is just something where it's so small. But why do you have to lie about this? I walked around on my own in the murder capital of the world. Like, really, Tyler's dissing the guy that he's doing a horrible job and just left and disappeared. But he's right there. He is right there filming this footage from a different angle. You were literally just making up to just sell a narrative. That this place is absolutely the most despicable thing you've ever seen. Now, if he's willing to lie about something so small like this, to just really just amplify the violence and the crime in here, when he clearly doesn't see it around him, what else would Tyler lie about? Now, later on in this video, Tyler's walking around Jamaica in a clearly peaceful-looking town, and he's asking all of these people, how bad is the crime here? Am I gonna die if I walk around here? And clearly, no one's buying into it.
You think we'll die today?
No, not today.
Not today?
Not today. Today's not good.
And that's not what he wants to hear. He has to amplify the violence and the crime of where he's at. So while Tyler's looking around, he sees this truck, and he says this.
This is what you're talking about. There's bullet holes on that thing. We saw a beryllium truck. That's the equivalent of one of the trucks in the U.S. that carries the cash, which means that someone's probably planning to steal from it right now.
So there's bullet holes on the truck, and that means someone's planning to steal it right now.
There's bullet holes on that thing, which means that someone's probably planning to steal from it right now.
That's how bad it is. People are robbing the cars. They're robbing the bank cars. That's how bad it is here. But let's look at that car a little bit closer. Oh, wow, it looks like it was just kind of scratched.
Yeah, that doesn't look like bullet holes, to be honest. That doesn't, I mean, there's not even holes, just like the paint is chipped off.
Now, I had to look in this a little bit more. The company that owns this is called Beryllium. And Beryllium just bought out a company called Guardsman. Guardsman, they're all based in Jamaica, has red...
Vince is lying about the trucks. You can literally look up the heist. It takes 2 seconds. Yeah, but okay. You say he's lying about the trucks, but you realize, like, just because a truck has had a heist on it at some point in time doesn't mean that that truck was about to be robbed. And Tyler was like, oh, that's about to be robbed. That truck's probably about to be robbed right now, bro. It's happening right now. How come you've been streaming so much lately? It's part of my job. Yeah, this seems like he's clearly misrepresenting what's going on. He immediately jumped to a conclusion about it.
Trucks. So would it really be that the car shot up with bullet holes and they're continuing to use it? Or that the car was red, they wrapped it black, and the car scraped against something, and now it's there? Why do you have to lie about that? Why do you have to make up this insane narrative? Oh my God, there was a robbery in place, and I was about to... That didn't happen, Tyler. This is all he does in his videos. He goes around and he preponders at the crime in all of these horrible cities that he visits. Is that really journalism? Is that
I mean, prepondering about the crime is fine. Investigating criminal situations is fine. Like, there's a lot of interesting stuff you can do with that. The problem to me is just that he's not really documenting much. He, like, talks to 3 people, and he's like, oh, that's where the crime happens. B-roll of different city. Like, you know what I mean? It is just kind of spreading misinformation.
Really this unbiased truth that you tell? Like, these people in this video, the tour guide that you're with, he's just trying to live his life. He's trying to do better. But you come into his country and just absolutely shit on it for like 40 minutes. It's disgusting. I don't know how you could do that. In this guide, if you go on his YouTube channel, all of the comments from underneath his video where he hung out with you, Tyler, for 2 hours are like, I don't trust this guy. This guy's a snake. This guy made our place look so bad. And the guide is like trying to defend. He's like, no, Tyler's actually a good guy. He helped me get views and subscribers and stuff. And it's like, that's so disgusting that you're making this guy subtly, you know, you're not asking him to defend you, but essentially he's wanting to defend you because you did give him a little bit of clout. When you come into his country and just shit on it for 40 minutes. Like, what the dude?
Well, in fairness, I mean, that guy has personal agency. He can say whatever he wants, right? Like, that guy can choose to defend Tyler if he wants. He can choose to agree or disagree with his interpretation. So I wouldn't go out on a limb and like say that Tyler's hurting someone that the guy himself was like, I'm not being hurt.
But it doesn't end there. Later on in this video, Tyler is walking around the street of all of the escorts, ladies of the nights walking around. And then Tyler sees this restaurant. And Tyler says this.
A lot of prostitutes out here. This is one of the hotels where the ladies get brought to have sex with the customers, the Johns. It is called the Pirate Ship Seafood Restaurant. I guess that's just a front, or seafood restaurant by day, prostitute brothel hotel at...
The problem for me is like, in this clip, he's making this claim with no proof of anything, right? He's making this claim. I have no reason to believe that this is true. He's just like, this, so, like, I go up to a McDonald's, like, this is actually the McDonald's where Jeffrey Epstein blew out 30 children last night. This is exactly where it happened, guys. When, like, Dave, thanks for becoming a member.
Night, a little bit inconspicuous at first glance, but in actuality, people are getting banged in there for $15 US.
So Tyler just walking around, sees this restaurant and sees that the lights are on and assumes that, oh my God, that's where all the people are getting in there, man. It's just grimy. It's a brothel. It's the dirtiest place you've ever seen. Yeah, that's where it's happening at. Tyler, this is a Christian catering restaurant that does weddings. Why the would you just make up a lie about
Small wedding, getting married to RGD, want a small wedding, check out our micro wedding reception package. 6 guests, 30 grand, 10 guests, 50 grand. I feel like if they're charging that much money, they're probably not also having guys bang each other for $15, right? Like, this is, like, literally just a lie. His tour guide literally told him about it. He misunderstood what he said. But Sans Rage, like, you're saying this as if this is, like, a defense of Tyler, okay? If I was making videos, this is one of the biggest things I criticize. If I was making videos where I was like, hey, guys, this guy over here that we're talking about on YouTube, he's a... How do I know? Well, because this other guy I talked to said he is. And then my defense was, oh, I misunderstood what he said, and I published that to like 10 million people. You'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you, right? Like, this is literally him actively, intentionally or not, whatever you want to say, slandering a local business. Like, this is the same, this is like horrible journalism. This in particular is horrible. Hey guys, I know I called this guy a but I misunderstood what someone else said. It got published to 10 million people. My bad. Like, that's not proof of anything. How can you sweep for this? No, I agree. He shouldn't have done that. Just adding the context Tyler explained. Fair enough. I just don't think the context really changes things for me. Christmas tree until July. Let's go. Yeah, dude, all these people are like, why do you still have your Christmas tree up? Bro, these winter months are bleak. I live in Maine. It's cold as it's a miserable place to live. Any excuse to want to myself a little less, I'm going to use. And that is, right now, feeling jolly. Feeling jolly.
In catering restaurant that does weddings. Why the would you just make up a lie about this? For what? Like, what is the story that you're trying to tell? Oh, how it is? I don't think you have to disparage a Christian catering restaurant for weddings and say it's a brothel. And the dumbest part about this is, like, you know, Tyler makes like two things. He's like, one, it's a brothel. Two, it's an actual restaurant. And then it's a brothel at night. Like, you can't just say like, oh, maybe it's true, maybe it's not. Which, we're going to go into that later. That's a whole...
I mean, even saying that, maybe it's true, maybe it's not, can be kind of a dangerous place to be. But I don't know that I would fault him that much for saying maybe it is, maybe it's not. But the problem is, like, there's so much here where he's clearly trying to push one kind of narrative about these places. And this is one blatant example where he's like, oh, bro, this is the brothel, guys. I know it to be true. This random guy on the street said it. As if you can just trust some random guy on the street. Okay? I wouldn't trust a random guy on the street as far as I can throw them, and I can't throw them. I totally get that. He made a giant mistake, but I don't think it was malicious intent. It's not one of those, hey, bro, don't... It's one of those, hey, bro, don't do that again. Not, you shouldn't have a career anymore things. But Sans Rage, you say that, but, like, if I went on a live stream and I was like, hey, guys, we're going to talk to this random in my chat who says that PewDiePie... I talked to him. I'm like, guys, PewDiePie, he did it last night. Wouldn't you say that should be, like, a career-ending thing? Like, if I take one person's word as fact and I'm like, guys, PewDiePie last night, I know it to be true. Wouldn't you say, like, I should have my career destroyed? Like, that is, okay, you can say, like, it's not malicious. You could say it's not malicious, okay? But it is malicious in one way, whether you like it or not. It's either malicious in the way that Tyler's willing to lie about it directly, or it's malicious in the way that he's so negligent he doesn't actually care about getting to the bottom of the facts. This is like a career-ending move for someone who says they're a journalist. Like, it's over.
Whole other can of worms. Either way, in that situation, it's a brothel. But you don't know that, Tyler. The thing is like, this is in a country where they're trying to rebuild. And you're just...
And I think Tyler's also one of the guys that says, like, we hate the mainstream media. They're so sensationalist. They misrepresent everyone. But he's literally doing the same thing, if not worse. Intentions might be good or stupid, but look at the outcome. Yeah, the outcome is horrible. The outcome is this local business might have gotten a bunch of shit and people saying that it was a brothel when it was not. You, like, saying something like that about a local business to millions of people could destroy it. It could get bombed with negative reviews. There could be articles reporting what Tyler said is fact, and then that, like, destroys his reputation in the local community because everybody thinks it's a brothel. You know what I mean?
Pity on the people there for no reason. I'm surprised the guy didn't stop you and say, what the f are you talking about? You're literally just making this up. Why would you do this, Tyler? Oh, because you're trying to get clicks and views by making whatever area you're in the place ever.
You're informing people about current events, topics that the broader public needs to be aware of. And I don't even think we necessarily stand for something besides the search for truth and putting things...
Like, this is the problem. He says the search for truth, but he's not telling the truth. He's not. If it was a totally, like, ambiguous thing, he would have a much more ambiguous conclusion to his videos. He would have, as far as the search for truth, if that is what he's doing, he would push back a little bit on some of the claims that people make, like in the cat video, right? Instead of just being like, whoa, that's crazy, guys. Anyway, on to the next thing. Well, I guess that's what that guy said. He said they're eating 100 cats. On to the next. Like, you would at least push back slightly. You would at least try to fact check it a little bit. You would at least include in the video, like, there's no evidence of this happening. That's not what he's doing, though. He's like benefiting from all of the sensationalist aspects of his content to the maximum.
Things out there on both sides, even if one of the sides is controversial or pisses someone off.
So let's go later on in this video. Now, Tyler's talking to some transsexual prostitutes and asking them all about the business, and you can see his guide right there. And then all of a sudden, 2 black guys come up to rob him.
Out of nowhere, 2 armed muggers came over to rob me and my cameraman and barely spared us, only after recognizing Jamaica.
Oh no, dude. He's about to rob him, standing in place with a taser back there.
Walked by as he yelled, "Bumbleclat" in the distance. They told us to turn the cameras off, and instead of robbing us, they agreed to be interviewed if we brought them some cash.
Seems pretty scary. So these thugs let Tyler go withdraw cash from the ATM. They literally let them get in their car and go withdraw cash, and then come back to the spot.
We're basically being extorted right now in real time to where we have to go get some cash, or we run the risk of Fabian getting murdered and killed on the streets one day for conning them.
Let's go get robbed.
Dude, this is like a direct... Is he like being ironic? This seems like a direct lie, right? Friendly mugging? Yeah. Like not really threatening him, not getting in his face, not even like putting a gun or a knife to him, just being like, hey guys, we're going to mug you, but you're good to go to the ATM and get some money. Maybe we'll do, you know, we'll be in your YouTube video. We're muggers, by the way. We are criminals, but we'll be in your YouTube video if you just give us a little money. Also, we'll kill you if you don't. Hey guys, I'm on my way. We're getting mugged right now. We're going to drive. The muggers actually let us drive 30 minutes to a different location to get cash and bring it back. Channel 5 with Andrew Callahan wannabe. Yeah, but Andrew Callahan, from what I've seen, actually does like proper journalism. Like he actually tries to get to the bottom of the situations, from what I can tell.
So 2 guys that robbed you at knife point let you get in your car to go drive to the ATM while they stayed there, and then you come back with about $150 and then convince them to do an interview on camera when you're holding a $3,000 camera that you're filming all of this with. Who's gonna believe this, bro? Who would believe this? That really you convinced the robbers to give you an interview?
I mean, people who want a certain narrative push, people who want to believe certain things about these places or these people or these kinds of people, maybe even, at least as evidenced by that one clip that Vince has on his Twitter, right? Like, I think people who want to hear a certain narrative are going to believe it, and that's why. And once again, like, if these places are so bad, which they very well may be, it should be much easier than this to actually get the information. It shouldn't be such a difficult thing. You should pretty easily be able to, you know, get relevant B-roll, to actually show some kind of restaurant that's actually a hidden brothel, right? But instead, it's like he goes to these places for like 24 to 48 hours, films with some random fuckers, gets an interview, leaves. Like, this is not good journalism at all.
Yeah, Tyler, I'm convinced that some guy with a beer gut and a dulled off kitchen knife is, oh my god, they're gonna kill you. Tyler, if you really thought they were gonna kill you, wouldn't you just drive away? Why would you go to the ATM and then come back to try to get an interview? Like, what the?
They weren't going to kill him. That's why. It's so obvious. I hate Vince Vintage. Everything he says in the video is probably 99% true, but the way he talks pisses me off. Things are always so crazy in the most monotone voice, like a Zoomer. I mean, I guess if you don't like the way he talks, fair enough, but like the points stand, right? You don't have to like Vince Vintage to acknowledge that everything he's saying is pretty true. As far as I can tell, anyway.
What the f are you thinking, dude? Tyler even makes it a point to say, we didn't set this up. We didn't plan this.
So we have to get some cash right now because we spent all of our money interviewing prostitutes, not because we prearranged this, but because they were going to mug us.
Why would you say that? If you really were getting robbed at knife point, I don't know if you would go like this.
Whoa. So that's a big old knife.
I'm getting robbed in 4K, bro. Oh, look at your gun. Look at your knife. How big it is, bro. There's no way that actually happened. Now, for this one, I don't have any hard evidence of this being fake, but considering that Tyler's willing to fabricate footage and just make up shit in his videos, I wouldn't put it past him to maybe fabricate this entire situation. But what about what Tyler doesn't tell you in his videos? That could be a little bit important too. Now, Tyler put out this video.
That is a hilarious thumbnail, by the way. AI, George Bush, and Osama in a hotel room overlooking the World Trade Center as a plane flies down. And Tyler stands there with a camera. I investigated if George Bush did 9/11. I'll give him props. He has the funniest thumbnails in the game, perhaps, okay? He has perhaps the most... He turned if George Bush did 9/11 into like a Mr. Beast video, okay? Something you don't see every day.
Investigated if George Bush did 9/11. Insane topic, but let's get into it. Now, Tyler says he meets up with a first responder on 9/11.
What if I talk to a first responder on 9/11 who was the New York Fire Commissioner? Let me introduce Chris Joya.
And we're led to believe, wow, this guy fought the fires on 9/11, but now he believes it was actually bombed, that it wasn't the planes.
Watch Tyler's response. I'm going to watch it after. I'm watching this video right now. I'm not going to watch his response before I've seen all these claims.
That guy sounds like he has a lot of credibility.
So it's impossible for a building to collapse near free fall speed and increase
Without a controlled demolition.
But Tyler leaves out a couple little details. This guy isn't a firefighter. He's a construction worker who volunteered on 9/11. He's a volunteer firefighter.
Well, I thought he just said he was like the chief of the fire department or something. Hold on. Did he just say that?
Talk to a first responder on 9/11 who was the New York Fire Commissioner.
The New York Fire Commissioner. So he was not the New York Fire Commissioner at all?
Sounds like he has a lot of credibility.
So it's impossible for a building to collapse near free fall speed and increase
Without a controlled demolition.
But Tyler leaves out a couple little details. This guy isn't a firefighter. He's a construction worker who volunteered on 9/11. He's a volunteer firefighter. Tyler says he was there on 9/11.
But what if I talk to a first responder on 9/11?
I feel like you're going to see a lot of people who are going to defend Tyler's stuff because it's like, oh, well, he's talking about these important issues, right? He's finally talking about the Bush 9/11 conspiracy. But realistically, if you actually believe in the Bush did 9/11 thing, Tyler Oliveira is not helping you out. He is, if anything, doing a disservice because he's misrepresenting the situation. He's claiming things are happening that aren't happening. He's claiming he's talking to a guy who doesn't have the credentials that he says he does, right? Like, this is actually holding back the Bush did 9/11 conspiracy truthers, if anything, because he's presenting bad faith evidence.
The guy literally says he wasn't there until 4 days after.
You were on site that day.
I was working across the river doing my construction job, and then
you were on site that day. I was across the river. Clip before. Guys, we're talking to a guy who was literally there. He climbed through blood and bones.
the fire department got called to duty to assist. Within a couple of days, we wound up down at ground zero.
So he was there within days. He wasn't even at the towers when they fell.
But this is just small potatoes. Now, during this video, the man talks about the bombing, how they did it, but he doesn't reveal who did it, which would be a little bit important. Now, the man brings up these people did it.
These people that did it don't even care about that.
Who would these people be? While Tyler doesn't say in the video, nor does Chris Goya, we could go online to this man's organization, the Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth. They currently have a federal lawsuit for believing that 5 dancing Israelis blew up the world.
Oh, okay, so this guy's actually deep. For those who don't know, the dancing Israelis conspiracy is the idea that 9/11 was done by a group of dancing, it was done by Israel, and as a result, there were a bunch of dancing Israeli people on a rooftop when the towers fell, basically, right? That's what this conspiracy is. I didn't know it was going this deep. I didn't know it was going full Jew stuff on this video, damn. I didn't expect that, to be honest.
Trade Center. But Tyler...
A Google search shows he was never a fire commissioner. He was a member of city council for a few years, though. Yeah, even better, dude. Even better. Tom, I didn't do it. Yeah, I don't know when these people are finally going to wake up and realize that it was actually me. I was involved, but whatever the case, it's kind of disappointing that I'm not getting the credit I deserve. Tyler Oliveira, you've misrepresented the situation. I personally was flying the plane. I jumped out at the last second. I had a Fortnite jetpack and I escaped.
Tyler just leaves this information out because clearly if we knew this guy believed Israel blew up the World Trade Center, we probably wouldn't take him seriously. But I mean, it's all good. It's all in the name of just a little bit of clicks and views.
Journalism,
a fun little
dude.
Conspiracy video. And Tyler is so insidious.
But that was a small mistake, though. You can't blame him. Yeah, I feel like at this point, I'm 26 minutes into this video. I've seen a lot of dishonesty from Tyler so far. And it's like, maybe if it was just like one of them, it would have been like, all right, somewhat forgivable. But it's like so many examples that Vince has at this point that it's really not looking good. Like, it can't just be like total negligence, right? It's like negligence on a level that you have to take responsibility for it at the very best interpretation. But with the mugging thing, it was clearly lying. Or with like the brothel thing in the restaurant, that was clearly lying.
In this video, because he's literally leading you 99% of the conspiracy theory, but that 1% of who did it, Tyler doesn't say. So for someone that gets invested in this, you're going to go all the way through, and then if you just go online, you could find out yourself. 5 dancing Israelis, the lawsuit is still happening. But what other details does Tyler leave out? Let's go to his video. I investigated the city where he legally must own a gun.
That's me turning myself into the police in Kennesaw, Georgia, where every head of household by law must own a gun. But does everyone here actually own a gun?
Now Tyler drives down to the town and says, I want to visit the antique store that has the law in writing.
After hearing from the people, I drove downtown to an antique store to see if I could find the law in writing.
So Tyler goes to the antique store, he sees the law in writing, he's talking with the shop owner, they go outside and smoke a cigarette, and then Tyler purchases a bag of assault rocks and a bunch of other items. So much stuff that Tyler needed a bag from this so-called antique store.
What are assault rocks? What is that? Automatic assault rocks. Rocks that don't require reloading as long as you can cock your arm and have a durable spray paint. What is this? What is that? I don't know what this is. I can't even find a good answer online. What the f is an assault rock? Slingshot ammo? Can you just buy rocks on the street? I don't understand. It's rocks you throw? Are they special magic rocks? Tom acting like he doesn't know. I genuinely don't know. It's a joke about stoning people? Okay. It's a gag gift? Gag gift you... Dude, I don't know. I don't know this racist lore, alright? You guys are all a bunch of racists in my chat and know about this racist throwing rocks lore. I don't know anything about this, dude. You guys are all deep in this racist culture. I'm over here, an innocent black man trying to understand what's going on, okay? Thanks for the dono, Phil.
But Tyler fails to mention some other items this antique store sells. This isn't a antique store. This is a KKK memorabilia shop that Tyler passed off as a antique shop. Now, do you think supporting a store like this might come off as maybe a little bit racist? But Tyler specifically leaves this detail out because he knows it's bad. I mean, hell, he bought so much stuff from this place that he needed a bag to take out everything he bought. I mean, it's just a grand old time at the KKK store, right? He even shows a little freedom flag playing over the shop owner. So the lady running the KKK store is now all of a sudden a freedom fighter with some green screen American flag. Tyler, good job. Good job, buddy. Now, am I saying this is racist? No. But you could think for yourself. But the saga of the store doesn't end there. Now, in Tyler's next video, he interviewed the most racist man in America.
This is Harrison, Arkansas, and this is the headquarters of the KKK, causing the widespread rumor that Harrison is the most racist town in America. What would happen if me, a white guy, came down asking the same questions? Could I infiltrate the KKK? And will closet racists be more open to sharing their beliefs with me?
Now, Tyler drives down to the town, and
I mean, in fairness, I think I saw that Jadeon video. The guy seemed pretty clear to me. The guy, I don't think the guy was very closeted. I would say he was the opposite of a closet racist, if anything.
Strumming my pain with his finger.
This is a great video, by the way. Oh, Brandon's in this video. Shout out. I want to see the part they talk to that one guy.
All right, we're gonna run with it. We're gonna rock with it.
Yeah. That what wizard? I gotta go. This the gang? This the gang? We're gonna have a meeting. I know you guys watch the videos for jokes and everything like that, but this is not no joking matter. We're gonna let them know. It's bigger than black and white. Marquez Brownlee on me, Marquez Brownlee on 3. 1, 2, 3!
Marquez Brownlee! Damn, there's mad Confederate flags there. Turkey Tom in chat says these look like fine folk. That could be a definition.
Oh my
I've never been on streets like this. You'd think we were going to visit a lost tribe. Yeah.
Oh shit, okay, we got some people right here. Hello, how you doing? Okay. I was trying to see if Mr. Rob was maybe here. No. I'm a YouTuber. My name's Jadeon. I was just wondering if we could have maybe a little dialogue with Mr. Rob if he has any free time and stuff like that.
Right now he's getting different stuff together for the conference that's coming up. So
I heard about that. Can I ask what that conference is about?
Faith and freedom.
I don't know if there's any way maybe I could come. No.
Especially not.
Especially not.
No, yeah, some people have.
I mean, we aren't anarchists. We just came here, it's America, We got the First Amendment, freedom of speech and everything like that.
Actually, I don't believe in that because if you have someone who can lose their job and their ability to support their family that they love, where they might have been brave enough to speak up, they won't put their children and their wife at risk.
True American patriot right here, all right? He's spitting. He's spitting.
So do you feel like here the truth is spoken?
I would say as much as can be.
From the videos I've seen online and stuff like that, I'm sure you've seen them. Yeah. I was expecting to just step right foot into town and then call the N-word, but
if it would make you feel better, I'll try it for you.
Oh!
I just kept on hearing people, they were like, nah, the racists aren't in Harrison, they're over in Zinc. and they were talking about how like they like kind of kicked you guys out of Harrison.
No white person, for the most part, moves to seek out diversity. They'll give lip service to it and move as far away as possible from it. Put up gated communities, spend their money.
Me personally, like
seems like a reasonable guy as far as I can tell. Seems like he's being pretty inclusive, pretty pro-diversity, okay?
I agree to a certain extent and stuff like that, you know. As black people, you know,
he's laid back. He's like the chill dog. This old racist guy's like the chill dog meme for racists, you know. He's like, I just don't like him. You know, it's not like a hatred. I just don't like him or want to be around them. That's basically his position. He's like the chill dog. You guys ever see the chill dog? That's what he would say. Thank you for becoming a member.
We look out for each other, you know. It's like, you know, people say black power. They look out for black businesses and stuff like that.
I'm not a segregationist. I'm a separationist. Every white country and only white countries are expected to become melting pots of humanity. And that's my stance. I oppose white genocide.
I'm not here to change anybody's mind or nothing. Like I said, like I just want to I feel like the conversation should always be had, because I feel like for there to be improvement into the future, you have to hear something different than your own opinion.
I often get an assumption made about me, and they wonder if black people did something bad to me. No. White people have done something bad to me, and I don't hate them either.
Yeah.
But it's never about that. It's I have a certain set of beliefs.
I wasn't expecting to come here and have like a civil, you know, conversation like this, but I came here with the heart.
So you kind of get the idea. You kind of get the idea here. Turkey Tom in chat, that is not true. That is not true whatsoever. I don't want to hear anything like that, all right? That's not very nice. But you get the idea. That's the kind of town that we're in right now. You know, not everyone there is like that, but they do have a few individuals.
Tries to find this guy who's been in 20 other videos who has like KKK connections or whatever. Now Tyler finds the man, sits down with him.
There he is, the star of the show.
About how much he hates black people and so on and so forth. And in the middle of the video, Tyler pulls out a little gift for the man. Now Tyler said this man just appeared out of nowhere, that he wasn't planning on meeting him.
In all honesty, we were headed to the KKK. I had no intention to meet you.
But he just had this gift ready to go.
There's no way you had no intention to meet him, though. There's literally no way. You know where he lives. You know he's in all the videos. You were going to meet up with him, dude. That's not true.
And that gift was the bag of assault rocks that he bought from...
Oh, my God, dude. Can prevent confrontation with... Does that say bungular? Oh, burglar. I thought it said bungular. Burglar, mugger, rapist, armed robber, or used for backyard target practice.
From the KKK store and gifted it to the most racist man in America.
We got an automatic assault rocks. That's kind of funny, right?
Oh, yes.
Do you really think supporting a KKK store and then gifting it to the most racist man in America is a great idea, Tyler? Like, what the are you thinking?
So here's what I think the problem is going to be for this point from Vince's video, okay? The problem is that, like, as soon as you start calling Tyler a racist, your points start to fall apart for them because they're so used to a lot of conservatives being called racist for not having racist opinions. So the problem is, like, when you come out swinging with that and you try to make that point, when at the beginning you said you weren't going to call him racist, but now you definitely are, right? You're going to lose a lot of his audience. His audience is not going to care about you. They're going to see this and they're going to summarize the entire video with all the points at the beginning as, oh, he's calling me racist. He's calling Tyler racist. Tyler's clearly not racist. If anything, I, as a real racist, would know that Tyler's not one. He's not representing, okay? So realistically, I don't think that, to be fair, I highly doubt a KKK store could exist these days. No, why not? You can definitely have a KKK store. It's not illegal to have a KKK store. You can literally do it. I'm from the deep south. I mean, he showed a KKK, like he was there. He showed it was like a white pride store. I'm not saying there's a ton of them everywhere, but he went to the one there is.
And Tyler was so proud of this moment that he took a picture with him and he posted it on Instagram and Twitter and even used 2 separate pictures when he made those posts. And Tyler left this little fact out because he knew it would come across as bad. That he went into a KKK store, bought this rocks, and then gave it to the most racist man in America.
The store's weak criticism, I don't think it's going to be very convincing for a lot of Tyler's audience. And I think when you're making a video like this, you know, you're trying to paint Tyler as like a bad sensationalist journalist. You need to simultaneously be able to get the people who already hate him on your side, but also the people who like him, right? And it's going to be hard to convince some people. Like when I was talking about the dishonesty, there were a decent amount of people in my chat who were Tyler fans who were coping about it, saying it was just a simple mistake, right? But when you get into this portion, they're just going to immediately write you off the second you throw out the R word.
Now, am I saying this is racist? But you gotta ask, where does Tyler get some of these jokes from? Let's go to his one video, inside the country that pays immigrants $34,000 to leave. Now this whole video is about Muslims invading Sweden, and Tyler at the end of the video says this.
We should be asking ourselves, what is a society and culture willing to sacrifice of itself to accommodate those it welcomes? And is a kebab stand in every street corner worth sacrificing a country's entire culture?
Oh my God. Okay, so he's actually going full in that direction. I didn't expect him to go full in like the anti-immigration direction, asking that kind of question. I didn't expect it to be like that. That's pretty crazy, to be honest. That's a pretty crazy conclusion.
And alongside in the thumbnail, Tyler has the word kebab right in the background. Now when Tyler equates an entire ethnicity of people to a kebab stand,
Yeah, he kind of went mask off there.
kebab, that's a reference to the popular meme, Remove Kebab, which if you don't know, is about the Bosnian military when they genocided 7,500 Muslims and made a song called Remove Kebab. And this song was played as the New Zealand church Christ shooter shot up 51 Muslims in 2
It's Christchurch, by the way. Yeah, but this is the Brenton Tarrant thing.
different mosques, and even called himself the Kebab Remover. So I don't know if equating an entire ethnicity of people to a kebab stand
Is a kebab stand in every street corner worth sacrificing a country's entire culture?
Maybe.
I don't know. The thing is, I don't know if he's necessarily trying to draw a direct reference with this particular one, because kebab is like a thing that people eat, I think. So, you know, I'm not saying I agree with Tyler's conclusion here. In fact, I disagree. But I don't know if he was trying to directly draw a parallel to that specific meme.
maybe comes off as a little bit racist. This is like saying, is a 7-Eleven stand in every street corner worth sacrificing an entire country's culture when I'm talking about Indian people? Tyler, that is a straight up dog whistle. Calling people, is it worth the kebab stand? Like, what the Or what about in Tyler's other videos? In this one, Tyler investigates the Venezuelan gangs invading Colorado. Now, inside, Tyler is in this apartment building, and clearly it's like falling apart. And he hears a smoke alarm chirp in the background, and Tyler says this.
It's been broken multiple times. You can hear the fire alarm that hasn't been changed. That's a meme.
I mean, it is a meme.
Well, Tyler, where is that meme from? Oh, it's from 4chan, right here. New dog whistle just dropped. It also is a reference to memes like this.
Whoa! Whoa! Whoa, 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 whoa. This AI image is throwing me through a loop. What is this one on the right? Oh my God. This one is crazy. This is the History Channel guy. That's pretty nuts. Once again, I feel like picking apart these little memes is not going to really convince a lot of the audience. Because a lot of that could be construed as like, okay, that's just humor, right? I think a lot of people will take it that way. I will say, after seeing everything together, I do see the point that Vince is trying to make, but I just don't think that painting Tyler as a racist, whether Vince is right or not, is going to do a good job of convincing the audience either way. I think you just have to I think the first half hour of this video or so was a lot better. I think that he hit a lot of points on dishonesty, but past that point, it's kind of become like, oh, he used this meme. He said the word kebab, which could be a reference to this racist dog whistle thing. And it's like Tyler is obviously coming from a perspective where he is anti-immigration. I think that's pretty clear. And especially, you know, anti-immigration from non-white countries. I don't think that's necessarily untrue at all. But I will say, is if you're trying to convince Tyler's audience, which you should be trying to do with a video like this, I don't think this kind of stuff is going to work.
That is some racist ass shit. Now, the meme is basically that black people don't change their smoke alarms and that they're scared of them. Would a real journalist bring up a insanely racist meme, and that when Tyler heard the smoke alarm chirp, that clearly meant that black people live inside of the building? It's all a big meme, bro. Now to Tyler, this apparently is hilarious, but let's see what else makes Tyler laugh.
These people that we're talking to have never had a random YouTuber in a blue jacket show up to them with a microphone and ask them their feelings or thoughts on anything. No one cares about these people's opinions, except when we come out of nowhere and give them an opportunity to speak and share thoughts, ideas, beliefs that they've been waiting their whole lives to share. Yeah?
Yeah. Black people apparently.
I mean, in fairness, like that's... Are you not going to kind of laugh out of like sheer nervousness or just shock if somebody says something like that? Once again, I don't think that this one particular thing is the strongest point. Like, oh, he laughed at a random guy on the street who said the N-word. Like, that is kind of a ridiculous thing for that guy to say. You probably would laugh at that, right?
Love to shoot other black people.
Own a business out here?
Yeah, chicken and watermelon.
And where did the name come from? It's kind of funny.
Be like going down the road, you saying monkey. And that's what I say to him.
I got an automatic assault.
Yeah. Now,
Pimps.
beyond the funny memes and funny edits, Tyler loves to bring up the hard-hitting journalism, the real questions that people are dying for. Now, I want to bring up another YouTube journalist that does a way better job than what Tyler does. His name is Tommy G, and Tommy G is interviewing some pimps and prostitutes on the street. Now, just to get an idea, pimping is human trafficking. If you don't believe so, go read Iceberg Slim's book and you'll find...
I mean, you don't need to read a book for it. That is what pimping is, right? They manage prostitutes. They traffic prostitutes. That is literally what their job is. It's in the job description. That is what this is. I do like Tommy G's videos, by the way.
Find out that it is the most horrible out there. And while Tommy G is talking to them, he brings up this.
Where do you see yourself on the balance of good and evil?
Straight good. Ain't no evil in me, you feel me? Everything I'm doing is out the kindness of my heart. I'm trying to make sure everybody that is part of me, I play my part and we smooth.
You're pimping out of the kindness of your heart?
For surely.
Does that sound like an absurd
For
statement to
surely.
make?
Absolutely not.
Wow, so Tommy's actually pushing back on what people are saying. It's
Right. And this is like, once again, the problem with the cat video from Tyler to me was like, he would just put the microphone in front of these people's faces, basically accept what they say as fact, and that was it, right? Versus, at least with Tommy G, like, he is pushing back a little bit. Not only that, I mean, it could be a little dangerous to push back against a pimp, right? Pimps are not known for being rather honest people or good people or for being nonviolent, right? That guy could try to beat Tommy's ass if he asked that question. One of the big quality that these content cop videos lack that iDubbbz had is condensation of points and priority to more hard-hitting pieces of info. Yeah, Turkey Tom and Chad, I would generally agree with that, because I think that it is clear that Tyler's being very sensationalist, but I think that what Ian did is he managed to avoid hitting on points that the audience that is watching are not going to buy into, right? And instead condense it down to like the best, most hard-hitting. Like, I think that a lot of this probably could have been condensed towards the back half of this video, because the beginning was like, it's super clear the narrative is that Tyler's trying to push. But when you mix that with like, oh, he made some jokes or he laughed at a guy who said the N-word, like, the audience is just not going to buy into that. They're going to be like, oh, well, I would laugh at that. It's like kind of funny to hear someone say something so crazy, you know? This thing's 49 minutes long, could have been 25. Yeah, I would probably, I mean, maybe 30, but yeah, I would probably agree. Generally, it could have been condensed a lot. You don't miss, I felt the same way with the second half of the video. Yeah, I would generally agree.
It's almost like Tommy G actually has a spine. Maybe he has some conviction in what he believes. But now I want to show you the hard-hitting questions that Tyler asks when he's talking to a pimp, a literal human trafficker.
Do you pull out?
Well, you know one thing about it, man. Hey, man, rubbers is not for suckers.
Do you pull out? That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's the hard-hitting journalism that's needed in the world. Do pimps pull out?
Even with this is like a line of questioning for a guy like that, for sure. But, and it is like journalism. Like, what Tyler's doing here is not like great journalism. Maybe there are other better questions he asked here, and I'm unaware of it, and I haven't seen that clip, but I would say this is pretty poor journalism. So this isn't the worst point in the world.
Literally, you are talking to a human trafficker, and the first thing you think of is,
do you pull out?
And to Tyler, it's really just a big joke. He plays the funny pimp music in the background, and oh, look at the pimp, he's got the funny glasses, and oh, do you pull out, bro? Like, Tyler isn't taking this seriously. Tommy G is actually hitting them with hard questions, pushing back on what they say, because Tommy actually cares.
Yeah, and I think it's okay to make jokes like that. Like, you can ask a question like that, but at the same time, you do have to ask the more serious questions as well. And from what I've seen of Tommy G's stuff, he is more willing to ask those serious questions about these people. And I think he probably cares about the issues more, and that's why he does a better job.
Cares about the content he puts out, really looking for that journalistic truth. But in Tyler's eyes, that question is, do you pull out? Like, what the f? Now, one of the worst things, I think, is when Tyler went to the USA-Mexico border and investigated the migrant crisis. Now, Tyler goes to the border, he talks to both sides. Basically, the video is about how when people claim asylum in the United States, they go into these migrant detention camps where there's no food and water, and they stay there for about a week at a time because the Border Patrol system is so backed up. And he even talks to the locals who say that
we're just locals over here who have banded together to deal with this historic moment that's taking place in our town. The Border Patrol is detaining people in 3 separate outdoor detention sites in our area, not providing them with any food, water, shelter, or anything like that. So we've been coming in and filling in that role.
Literally, they have had to give these people food and water because the government doesn't. People have died out here in these camps, just waiting to get processed by Border Patrol.
Do you think people would be dying if not for the help you guys have provided?
Most certainly, yes.
Yeah?
Okay. Actually, 2 people have died.
But Tyler rolls upon one camp that was empty earlier and now is full. And when Border Patrol comes to process these people...
I'm gonna see if I get processed.
Should probably get my ID though.
Oh,
Are you
no.
part of this group? See? Ahora. Okay, I'm gonna be processed.
And Tyler takes up the spot of one of the asylees and tries to get processed by Border Patrol, all as a
Oh.
big joke. Like, what the are you thinking, Tyler?
In fairness, if he was going in there, I think people will be more forgiving of this if Tyler went in there to actually film the documentation process and get some like if he had gone in there with some of the migrants and they were okay with it, and he had been filming the entire thing to try and document the process and see how like up or not up it is from his perspective, I think that probably would have been a lot less egregious to Vince. But the thing is, he just treats it all like it's a big joke, which I guess basically what he's showing is that he doesn't really care about the issues, right?
Tyler, literally, you took up the spot of someone that was an actual person fleeing their lives as a meme. What the actual are you thinking? You know the Border Patrol system is backed up for years, and you're just adding on to that for no reason at all. And Tyler was so proud of this that he put it in all of his promo for this video, all over TikTok and Instagram. Oh, I pretended to be an asylee and then get processed. Like, this is the most elitist rich kid I've ever seen. This is disgusting. And the fact that no one has called you out on this blows my mind. Now, the Border Patrol guards do catch on to Tyler. They clearly see he's like a YouTuber, and they kick him out of the bus. But what the are you thinking? Would a journalist really pretend to be an asylee fleeing their lives, trying to get processed by Border Patrol, all as a big joke? I don't think so. Now, Tyler's thumbnails have always been a big critique point for him. People have always said they're sensationalist, they have guns and violence and flames. And
Yeah, this is like mixing Mr. Beastification of YouTube, like the most sensationalist, crazy AI thumbnail possible, which is like representing a thing that didn't even happen, mixing that with like, oh, we're getting to the truth of the matter, right? And like on some level, I think that people will be willing to excuse this to some extent, but at the same time, I think the other issue is like the thumbnails are sensationalist, and then the content also seemingly in some examples completely misrepresents the truth of the matter, right? So I think that's not going to be held in very high regard, right? Like undoubtedly if CNN was doing thumbnails like this and they were making videos painting white people in such a horrible way, Tyler probably would have a big problem with that, as he should. Channel 5 did a good video on this. They got detained. Interesting. Maybe I'll take a look at that.
And it's just these crazy thumbnails that aren't actually from the video that he's filming.
A YouTube thumbnail is a compressed combination of symbols that allow a viewer to know what they're going to be watching as soon as humanly possible.
Right, but the problem is like you have the thumbnail, which is sensationalist, and then the content is also completely sensationalist. And so like it's not like the thumbnail is crazy, but once people click on it, they get the truth of the matter. It's more like the thumbnail is crazy, people click on it, and then you just like misrepresent events.
Sometimes they do offend people, and I get it. I genuinely do get it. It's something we're kind of working on, but the videos are often redemptive stories of these people, and the coverage is as balanced as possible on both sides. That's something we should
redemptive stories about the KKK guy.
Strive for.
And I just had this thought. I feel like Tyler's thumbnails are what he wants the city that he visits to be like. I mean, let's take example for a Sweden video. Now, when Tyler goes there, it seems pretty peaceful. You know, everyone's talking to him on the streets, everything seems pretty fine, but if you look at the thumbnail, you would get a completely different image. We have this guy with the Gucci bag, and he's all Gucci'd out. We have Swedish flags on the ground burning up. We have people with masks on robbing people in the middle of the street. But Tyler doesn't actually see that at all in the video. But the thumbnail is what he wishes the video would be. Let's go to his George Floyd video. Now, when Tyler goes there...
I forgot. I remember seeing this in my recommended and being like, what the f*** is this? All right, I think we've gotten through most of the hard-hitting points from Vince's video. So at this point, I kind of want to see Tyler's response, because I think I've seen pretty much all of the super hard-hitting stuff. So I know that Tyler, he initially did a response on his community tab. Oh, did he take it down? He had a community tab response. It looks like it got taken down. Well, he did do a video eventually, so I guess we can just watch the video. I investigated Tyler Oliveira exposing all the lies one day ago.
On Christmas Eve, a YouTuber by the name of Vince Vintage released a 49-minute long video titled Exposing Tyler Oliveira, YouTube's Biggest Liar, where he calls me a liar, implies that I am a racist, and ultimately tries to destroy my career. In this video, I'll be debunking Vince's outright lies and false claims in order of the most absurd, baseless, nonsensical claims to the more creative speculation that he presents to an audience that already hates me. To do this, I'll even present some behind-the-scenes footage that will completely dismantle his baseless lies and irresponsible speculation. And I'm also going to acknowledge a few mistakes I've made over the last 2 years, some of which Vince actually does point out. Thank you, Vince.
Okay.
But before I disprove all of the lies Vince uses in his attempt to destroy my name, my reputation, and my channel, I want to set the stage. Vince is a YouTuber who creates video essays. Besides a single photo of him getting married, congratulations by the way, Vince's entire Twitter account is dedicated to myself and my channel over the last couple months. Non-stop, my balls in his mouth like...
I don't understand, like he criticized you, he tweets about you? Is that like, his balls are in my mouth, let's set the stage? This is not substantive at all. This is literally just like, bro, he tweeted about me a lot, my balls are in his mouth. He tweeted about his wedding once. I don't understand. Does he need to tweet more about his Funko Pop collection? Is that what he needs to do? Like, what? This is so gay.
Like an obsessive...
This is literally what Hassan does, where Hassan will pull up, like, Hassan will pull up a guy and be like, isn't this the guy who is obsessed with me? This is the guy who lives... I live rent-free in his mind, dude. He's obsessed with me. He loves me.
Ex-girlfriend. Vince is also 33 years old. While I might not typically bring that up in this context, given how Vince talks about this guy who tried to ruin his life for seemingly no reason, I thought it was rather ironic.
Okay, but you say that it's like ruin your life for no reason, right? But like he made an entire 49-minute long video, which like some of the points I think are pretty weak. But I'd say the first like 25 are pretty hard hitting, and he has a lot of... I'd say, at least, I mean, we'll see what Tyler says, but from what I've seen, he had a lot of, like, pretty substantive points about how you're misrepresenting these situations, right? He's 33 years old.
A 37-year-old piece of low-life loser who has nothing better to do, just wants it down, and doesn't have to prove anything about it.
And Vince's poorly...
Okay, this is totally dishonest, because that guy was a hacker who was trying to ruin Vince's life by hacking into his accounts, filing copyright claims to get it taken down. That is literally what that was. Tyler Oliveira made Vince Vintage made one video about you and tweeted about you like a handful of times. He made one video. He made one. That's it. That's literally it. This is not the same thing. This other guy was a 33-year-old fat obsessed... Vince Vintage made one video about you.
Constructed hit piece against me and my name is the longest video ever uploaded on his channel. The second longest video is one about Jeffrey Epstein. Yup, it seems like...
What does that even... This doesn't even mean anything. Dude, the video is 7 minutes longer than the one about Jeffrey Epstein. This is such a dumb... Like, you're painting it as if he cares more about you than Jeffrey Epstein. You're another YouTuber in the same space as him. He's trying to make a video talking about you. This is so dishonest. He's literally loading the beginning of the video. He's loading the beginning of the video with a bunch of that means nothing so that he can try to paint Vince as like some kind of dishonest actor. He's obsessed with me. He's on my dick. This means nothing, dude. This means literally nothing.
This is a bit personal, but it doesn't matter. If his criticism is valid and I am in fact just a liar, then I agree, Vince. Call me out. But unfortunately for Vince, it's simply not the case. For simplicity, I'll be using Vince's own tweet of points he asked me to address as a roadmap for this video. Let's get into it. Why did Tyler hide the fact that he shopped at a KKK memorabilia store that sells bleep and passed it off as an antique store? In this video, I walked into the store, bought some automatic assault rocks, this license plate, and a copy of the city ordinance because the entire premise of the video was the city where everyone must legally own a gun. Every head of household resides.
Yeah, once again, I thought that this point was like, he could have said it. It was kind of weird that he hit it, but I don't think that this is the strongest point from Vince's video.
Residing in the city limits of the city of Kennesaw is required to maintain a firearm together with ammunition, therefore, in the city penal code. That was kind of the whole point of the video. This is a Civil War antique store that sells all sorts of artifacts and memorabilia from the Civil War time period. This is one of the silliest points ever, but Vince provides it in his attempt to paint me as a racist.
Yeah, once again, the racist thing, I think that Tyler's really going to over-focus on that, and the idea that he's not a racist. I think he's going to really... Sorry, I think Tyler's really going to focus on that, and he's not going to focus on the more hard-hitting points of, like, misrepresenting these places.
Not even going to call you a racist, a Hitler, Tyler Oliveira.
Vince knows there are many objects for sale in the store just by looking at the footage in my video, but he creates a chapter titled KKK in his video, implying I went in there to go on some sort of racist shopping spree when I bought literal rocks.
I mean, hell, he bought so much stuff from this place that he needed a bag to take out
I mean, in fairness, you did buy the rocks to give it to the racist KKK guy, and he loved it, right?
everything he bought. I mean, it's just a grand old time at the KKK store, right?
I maybe spent.
Why would he not address the racism allegations when it damages his brand? The thing is, I don't think that the racism allegations really damage Tyler's brand because his audience doesn't think that he's racist or care about that kind of like claim anyway. I don't think they particularly would care if he was racist, or if he was somehow. I don't think they would believe those claims because once again, they come from a world where people have made so many claims about X guy being racist, Y guy being racist that I don't think it really is going to affect him that much. Like, this is addressing the easiest thing.
Spent 10 minutes in the store, talked to this lady, got an interview for the video, bought some rocks for the bit, and left. This point sort of outlines how desperate Vince is to paint me as a racist at whatever the cost.
I'm not even gonna call you a racist, a Hitler, Tyler Oliveira. Now, do you think supporting a store like this might come off as maybe a little bit racist?
It's literally an antique store with a Civil War theming in the deep south of Georgia. I bought rocks, a piece of paper, and a plate with guns on it. It's almost like saying if you pay admission to go to a Civil War museum, you're somehow supporting slavery. It doesn't even make sense, and Vince knows this, but he preys on an audience that already hates me to create this narrative that I am a racist. Why did he hide the fact that he gave the most racist man in America a welcome gift he bought from the KKK memorabilia store that sells said, bleep? First of all, I didn't hide anything. I even posted a photo of him and I on Instagram with a caption titled, I gifted him automatic assault rocks from Kennesaw. For context, I saw the original video where the most racist man in a video meets another YouTuber, Pootie, and Pootie asks him this.
Me or this white rock right here? Be honest, don't lie to me.
The rock, it serves a purpose.
Secondly, the
Vine thud. It serves a purpose.
Video where we met the most racist man in America was posted 1 week after the video we made in Kennesaw, Georgia. Here's all the proof that my trip to Kennesaw, Georgia and then to Zinc, Arkansas was in one trip. I still have the rocks from Kennesaw, Georgia. They were in my bag. I thought of it on the fly. It all worked out once again. But no, this wasn't some premeditated genius meetup. The guy doesn't even have a phone. You can't set meetings with this guy. He was out there. I knew I still had the rocks in the car. I knew about the Pootie bit with the rocks. I knew I could make him laugh if I gave him the rocks. I did. Boom! We have a video. I lied. I did see the Pootie video, and I brought a gift. I had no intention to meet you, and we saw her. Like, that's the guy from that one video. He's gonna blow your mind. You ready for this? Okay.
To be honest, I think he did go there to meet that guy. Why would you go to the most racist town without meeting the most recognizable racist guy from that town? That doesn't really make sense to me.
So I know you like the rock more than Pootie. I got an automatic assault rock. That's kind of
Why does it being one trip have anything to do with it? It does not.
funny, right?
Oh, yes.
I mean, just say you thought it would be funny to give the racist guy rocks. Like, you did. You thought you went to the town. Are you telling? If I went to that town to do that video, of course I would meet that most racist guy. That's the guy you're gonna meet. He's in every video.
But Vince is so caught up in me being a racist that he wants to connect me giving this guy rocks, which is a callback to this video by Pootie, that it's somehow KKK related. They're just rocks. They're rocks. Why did Tyler use a PS5 as bait to get someone to break into his car? 1, that's a TV, not a PS5. 2, to see if someone would break in and take it. We ran a little Mark Rober-esque sting operation with the TV and controller in the car. Fun fact, because I hate thieves, we emptied the boxes and put towels in them. But to be fair to Vince, his real point is that car break-ins and auto theft is so rare in the city of Oakland that we had to perform a little sting
Thank you, Pleb, for becoming a member.
operation to show that cars do get broken into.
Because frankly, when Tyler goes to these places, it's not as bad as he always wants it to be. So by Tyler showing all these news clips, it could seem way worse than what it really is.
What's hilarious about this though is that Vince has hyperanalyzed all of my videos. He's watched the entire Oakland video, yet he fails to include this scene where we walk up to a woman who is taping cardboard to her car window that just got broken into. Know anyone else who's had their car broken into like this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Everybody?
This isn't my first time going through this, so
How many times has it happened to you?
I can't even count on two hands. I've had my car stolen.
That would have been a good thing to include from Vince, I think. But I will say, from doing the car break-in experiment, there definitely was still a narrative in mind. But Vince definitely could have included this, I think.
2 or 3 times, broken into. Oh.
You just call that PS5 a TV? Well, I mean, whether it's a PS5 or a TV doesn't really matter, right? It's still an expensive electronic item. I guess probably a PS5 would be more expensive depending on the TV.
More than 10 times.
Yeah. The next person we talked to in the video says this.
Just talked to Auntie outside who had her car window broken in.
That's normal, man.
Normal?
Yeah, that's normal out here.
Everyday occurrence?
Rule number 1, bro, don't leave your stuff in the car.
And what's even funnier is that the crime statistics state that in 2023, Oakland reached the highest number of car thefts in more.
So I'm curious, is he going to respond to the, because the biggest thing to me, like he's really focusing heavy on the car break-in thing. Oh, Darren. I want to see the Darren part. Here we go.
Our review to Hagenberger. No break-ins at 11 p.m.
No, not at night.
Okay, got it. Tomorrow morning?
You gotta come in the morning.
Shit.
Why did Tyler hide the fact he brought on known fraudster Darren Stalcup as his Oakland homeless expert? In my Oakland video, I introduced Darren as a Bay Area native and investigative journalist.
In this Oakland video, Tyler brings along this prestigious reporter. Now, this guy isn't a journalist. He's actually a used car salesman who pulled a $7,000 GoFundMe scam a couple months earlier.
So Vince basically clowns Darren for getting a 9-to-5 as a car salesman, referring to this Facebook post by Darren. So Darren told me that he's been doing citizen journalism since 2015 after his cousin Scotty was murdered by fentanyl dealers in the Bay Area. Recently, Darren's tried to move on and get a more traditional 9-to-5, and he proudly and excitedly got a job as a car salesman. Vince refers to this Facebook post in an attempt to discredit Darren and the work he's done since 2015 in the Bay Area as a citizen journalist. My Oakland video with Darren went live August 14th, and then over a month later, Darren got a job as a car salesman. He was excited to get a new job and
Are we not even going to address the GoFundMe, though? Like, I feel like I would be less inclined to trust someone if they're having, like, a slightly dishonest GoFundMe or majorly dishonest where they're trying to raise money so they can move, right? Like, that, I feel like you have to talk about that. You're kind of dodging this.
a reliable paycheck. Seems pretty understandable.
You might address if you watch. Elijah Yancey in my chat. Okay, you're banned. You're so. Yes, I'm watching the video. Holy rape.
And commendable, right? I asked Darren himself why he moved on and got a job, and he said, mentally, I'm not the same. I think about all the faces, the stories, the losses. Maybe I've got PTSD, or maybe it's just anxiety that never lets me sleep. My mind races with what ifs and should haves. I'm human, just like everyone else, yet I feel this crushing weight, this responsibility that I can't shake off. I just want a moment of peace, a chance to breathe without the world collapsing around me. And the dumbest part of Vince's point here is that Darren got the job afterwards. Basically, Vince is trying to attack Darren's credibility because he got a job, and in turn attacking my credibility, and in turn attacking the validity of our Oakland video. Secondly, Vince attacks Darren for running a GoFundMe where he asks his Twitter followers for money to move out of the Tenderloin.
Who pulled a $7,000 GoFundMe scam a couple months earlier.
I talk a lot about right-wing grifters in my videos, but this week Fox hosted one.
Who is this, by the way? Sure, it's a little cringe, but just saying. Who is she for research purposes?
That was so lazy. I'm honestly kind of impressed. This guy, Darren Mark Stalcup, is trying to raise $10,000 to move from the Tenderloin neighborhood of San Francisco to another neighborhood in San Francisco.
Darren told him what he wanted the money for, used the money for that purpose, and received the money from consensual adults. What is the problem? Vince?
Well, you can still say that it's cringe that he's trying to like sympathy bait his audience to give him a bunch of money so he can move, right? Like, you can still say that's a cringe GoFundMe. If anyone else did this, I would be on them, right? When these bread tubers are like, guys, it's financial abuse to not donate to me. I need money right now so I can move. It would just help me out a lot. They're not technically being dishonest, but it's obviously like trying to paint their life as if it's like a horrible, horrible thing when like they're just trying to get more money from their audience, right? I would on the same exact thing.
Basically throws Darren under the bus to attack the credibility of everything we've done. Next, misplaced B-roll and B-roll mistakes. In my videos, when we're talking about, let's say, crime, we may show an example of this crime happening in the given city. Now, Vince just spent the last 4 months going through roughly 2 years worth of my videos, analyzing almost 15 hours worth of my content. What Vince finds is a handful of examples where a given B-roll shot takes place in a different city. For example, here's this shot in our Oakland video about a machine gun manhunt that turned out to be from West Oakland, Pittsburgh. Now, Vince is right. This is a mistake, and we messed up. This shot was from the wrong Oakland. Vince uses this example and a few others to create this argument that I, Evil Tyler, am hand-placing specific shots to create a false narrative about the cities we discuss and cover in our videos.
Once again, Tyler is literally making up to push a narrative.
But here's the problem. I don't place the B-roll for my videos. I have 2 editors for my main channel, and 1 editor's job is dedicated to finding B-roll for the videos. Whether it's me or my editing team, Ultimately, it's my channel with my name and it's my responsibility. I agree with Vince. These are lazy, dumb mistakes that never should have made it to the final cut. But the problem is, if you take out the few incorrect shots we placed in some of these videos, for instance, let's take Oakland and replace it with this shot,
And machine guns.
machine guns, or this shot, or this shot, or this shot, the same purpose is achieved at visual.
But it begs the question of, like, why not just include that footage if it's so easy to find, right? Like, if it's so easy to find that other footage, why can you not just include that one, right? Like, it's not that difficult. You could easily just have your editor find that shot. And when you're reviewing the videos, like, you say it's a mistake, but once again, I don't I don't really buy that. Like, you're intentionally putting out the video. You could say it's your editor's fault, but you review all the videos before they go up, right? I don't think Tyler's evil. But I do think he's disingenuous, and he calls himself a journalist when, I mean, he's going to these places with a narrative in mind, right? I think that much is clear. Very lazy editing.
Visualizing the gun crimes in question. Another example is this shot of a shootout in Chicago that made it in our video about Memphis.
So Tyler deliberately knew what he was doing.
Okay, let's take out that shot and replace it with any of these shots.
Yeah, but the question is, like, why not just do that? Like, is it because you wanted the most sensationalist footage to be in the video? Is that why? Because you wanted to have the video of the guys breaking into the car instead of, like, the news report from after the fact where you don't actually have the footage? Because obviously it's a lot more powerful in a video to have a bunch of guys breaking into a car with guns out than, like, you know, one of these videos where it's a bunch of cops standing around with, like, a news report on the bottom, right?
Does the gun crime go away? Does the gun wounds of these people that we interviewed in the Memphis video go away?
I got shot. My arm. I got shot. Stomach, side, back.
Multiple times, man. It's dangerous out here.
You guys are strapped?
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 13.
You ever been blipped?
Yeah.
Actually, holy. When did that happen?
Let me tell you something, man.
This is unexpected. I didn't expect that so many people to get shot. Did you nearly die?
Yeah, I see you, man. 2-3 weeks. You just be out here like we.
Is Tom baiting? What about anything I've said makes you think that I'm baiting? Tyler did say he ultimately takes responsibility for what's on his channel and agrees criticism is good. Yeah, which is, like, I mean, he does say that, but he's kind of, like, sidestepping it here with, like, well, we could have included all these clips. It's like, okay, well, why didn't you? Why did you not just do that? And, like, just because somebody says, like, your criticism's good, does that mean that you're just like, oh, okay, well, based, forgiven, you know what I mean? Like with Jake Doolittle, just because Jake Doolittle was like, I shouldn't have said that, does that mean that he didn't say everything he said as far as trying to blackmail people? Like, just if you're, like, acknowledging a criticism, does that mean that it's, like, doesn't exist anymore? Is that what that means?
Your nasty pop off. People crazy out here right now.
But what's more deceptive is that we know Vince has combed through all of my videos. He doesn't show any of the people I talk to in my videos that tell us about the gun crime, and just to show how easy it is to make a mistake, Vince himself improperly cites this clip.
This clip isn't from Chicago. It's from Houston, Texas, 4 years ago. Tyler makes up shit.
It's from Dallas. We both got it wrong. Okay, but it being from Dallas or being from Houston in Vince's video is not as big of a mistake as it being from a completely different state. Like, Vince is pointing out you use footage from the wrong place, right? That is what he's pointing out. There being one example of Vince it up is not like, oh, well, Vince clearly actually is the one that's wrong. He got one of them wrong. It's the same mistake. Yeah, but it's like Vince has one mistake and it's from a different city versus Tyler has like 10 from different states. Like, this is not the same thing. These are not on the same level.
Fit his narrative.
Hearts the comment where his viewer points his mistake out.
I'm chat right now. You're all banned. If you disagree with me, you're banned. That's how we do it here, chat. As we all know, the censorship is coming in hot.
And at the end of the comment, it still reads, so Tyler still lied about it. Or this example of Vince.
But he did. He did.
Pointing out this flag.
Oh my God, and there's an ISIS flag. Clearly that isn't just a peaceful protest. They have ISIS flags in Sweden.
And his viewers correct him, stating it is the Shahada. If this is the logic.
Oh, Tyler actually got him on that one. That one he actually owned him on. Not an ISIS flag.
Then Vince and I both lied about this nothing burger shot that could easily be replaced with 100 other examples of B-roll that serve the same purpose. And in this case, the fact that I can literally replace all of the shots you pointed out with 100 other examples that prove the exact same thing begs the question, why would we even put these shots in there on purpose, leave them in, and not hide them or cut them out a year later? It doesn't make sense because we didn't, just like you didn't maliciously say this B-roll shot was from Houston when it was actually from...
I mean, I think it's pure laziness for sure. But I think combined with everything else, I think it could easily be painted as malicious for sure.
Dallas. Vince is ultimately zooming in on granular detail to argue that I am a deceptive, manipulative liar when he himself does the exact same thing in his video attacking me.
It's more of a hypocrisy of his morals. And I found this quote from an openly gay member of Congress that sums up Craig's situation nicely. It's a violation of principles to vote one way.
I remember we watched this video on stream.
And act another.
Why did he pretend to be asylum seeker to get processed by Border Patrol? To see where we would end up, the behind the scenes logistics of how the government would process someone claiming
But yeah, that didn't really happen, did it?
asylum and what that process looked like. Seems kind of interesting as an American tax-paying citizen to know how this process works. What's funny about this though is Vince feigns some moral outrage that I'm in the van for 20 seconds.
Like, what the are you thinking, Tyler? Literally, you took...
But like, okay, to be clear, if that's really what Tyler wanted to do, he could have prepared a lot more for this, right? He could have prepared a lot more for that situation.
Up the spot of someone that was an actual person fleeing their lives as a meme. What the actual are you thinking? You know the Border Patrol system is backed up for years. And you're just adding on to that for no reason at all.
And that I've taken up someone's spot to enter America when, once again, I'm literally in the car for 20 seconds. The Border Patrol guys laugh it off. No harm, no foul.
Let's go. What about this guy?
See?
He's a YouTuber.
No.
You see the camera?
I got denied access. It's not like I pushed some pregnant woman out of the way to take the last spot in the van. There was no one else left waiting to get in the van. Even if I did take a seat, I wouldn't have been taking someone else's seat. You know this, Vince, because you...
You know what? From Tyler, I'll say that's actually not a bad point. But I will say, I do wish that he had actually tried harder to be in that van. That's honestly my problem. I wish he'd actually tried harder and done more preparation so he could be in there. My problem is not just like, oh, well, he was going to take up the spot, therefore it's up, right? My problem is like, I would have liked to see him go harder instead of treating it like a complete joke, right?
You watched my video and you see me in the back of the line. Why did Tyler pretend to be alone in fear for his life in Jamaica? But in reality, his tour guide was right next to him the entire time. Oh, this is one of Vince's big gotcha moments.
This was, for sure.
Where he thinks he proves that I'm willing to lie about the tiniest of stuff, so why wouldn't I then embellish or lie about even bigger, more important issues? But the problem is, he's wrong, and here's the evidence to prove it. For context, he's referring to when I'm in Trenchtown, one of Jamaica's most dangerous neighborhoods. At a certain point, my guide and I are separated, and this random dude tells me to come to the farm.
I'm going over the farm.
The farm?
The farm. That is our farm.
Right over there.
Yeah, we can go over there. Come.
To which my cameraman, myself, and this guy go to the farm. It all ends well. We had a great time. I even used my voiceover to immediately compliment this guy for giving me a little tour and showing me unexpected hospitality. While my guide was nowhere in sight, I first thought I was setting myself up to get robbed, but it turns
So this is the point where Vince found the other footage where it looked like the guy didn't actually leave, right?
out this guy was giving me a full tour of the community with unexpected hospitality. Vince zooms in on this voiceover, trying to paint this moment as if I was lying and that my guide was with me the entire time. Visiting the garden right now. A little baby young mango. Is this where you make the juice?
So I'm thinking, oh my God, Tyler's gonna get murdered. Tyler's in the murder capital of the world without his guide. Oh my God, he's gonna die. He's gonna get robbed. Seems pretty bad. But let's watch this interaction from a different angle.
Is this where you make the juice?
Yes.
Thank you, thank you. Oh, so this is what we just tried.
Oh, okay. That's Tyler's cameraman. That's clearly the same thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
Where's this camera angle from? Oh, it's almost like his guide was right there and took this footage, but Tyler had to sell it off is that his guide was nowhere to be seen and that Tyler was going to get murdered.
But in reality, my guide was not there, and here's 28 minutes of behind-the-scenes footage that show him and I separated.
I mean, unless Tyler's also lying about this, it seems to me like Vince jumped to a big conclusion there, to be honest with you. Because I was totally sold on that from the beginning when I saw that. But to be honest, now that I see this, it looks like the guy actually was not there. Where'd the guy go? I don't know. Maybe Tyler will explain. But, I mean, based on this, it seems like Vince jumped to a big conclusion about this part. That doesn't prove anything. Well, it does prove something because Vince said that the guide didn't actually disappear, right? That's the point he was making. His guide wasn't actually gone. His guide was there the entire time. Proves nothing. He could just be staying out of the shop because Tyler requested him for the plot line. I mean, that's true. But, like, it could be the case, but I don't know that. So in the absence of evidence, if he provides more examples of the guide seemingly being gone, like I wasn't there, I have to assume that Tyler... Well, I don't have to assume he's telling the truth. I'm not going to assume that he's lying, right? It looks like to me the guide was gone for half an hour and then they got back together with a drink place basically, right? Because like the way Vince made it out was like the guide never actually left. He was there the entire time. But what Tyler does is provide extra footage that there was a half hour period in between there where the guy actually was not there during this time period, right? So I mean based on this, like the guide has the footage. Yeah, but the footage once again was from when they got to the juice place. There's half an hour in between. It's such a minor point. I mean, that's true, but you still have to disprove even the minor points, right? I mean, at least from what I can tell, the guide was not there during this footage.
And here's the exact moment where him and I reconnect.
What I am really curious to see is if Tyler addresses the brothel thing with that restaurant. That would be really interesting.
Tyler and Blake up there getting some footage and thing. As for me, it's a little bit early in the morning. I'm hungry.
And here's my guide's POV in that same 2-hour-long vlog that Vince points to in his video, stating that we were together the entire time. Yet look, where am I? We aren't together. And then look at that. There's the exact moment from my guide's POV where we reconnected.
Tyler's guide posted a 2-hour-long vlog of their entire day, and the guide was there the entire time. Tyler wasn't walking on his own about to get murdered. That was all just made up.
But Vince knows that no one is going to fact check this, and he tries to use it to build his case that I'm a liar. Vince's continuing.
Well, in fairness, he probably thought that you would fact check it, to be clear. But I'll give him this point. This seems like it was right.
Self-glaze of his attention to detail only further pronounces his malice in the way he cuts this video together and proves that he either lied or B, he didn't have all the evidence and he speculated.
And this is just something where it's so small. But why do you have to lie about this?
His entire point is that I'm trying to paint this sense of danger that doesn't actually exist, which is funny because he conveniently cuts out and omits all of this testimony from people that live in the community.
Well, we're seeing a lot of people dying by guns. That is the most violence we are seeing right now.
Well, Trenchtown is full of crime and violence going on. It's been a long time now till my child come and get involved by...
I feel like having your guide tail you by 50 yards isn't leaving you abandoned, though. Was it 50 yards? I might have to watch the video. What is the guide's YouTube channel? I'm going to have to just actually watch that channel to see. I assume Tyler promoted him, right? Let's see here. I investigate the murder capital of the world.
This is...
Subscribed. Okay, this guy's the guide.
360 by road. Whoa.
Okay. Alright, so we need to find the point when they split off from each other. I need to control F for juice and then work my way back. Okay, so this is where they get the juice, right?
Fruit juice. It was very nice.
Okay, this is when they go in the juice place. So I need to figure out how far away he was from Tyler in the previous half hour, basically. Okay, so he's with Tyler here at this point in time. When do they split up and where does he go? It might be kind of hard to figure out. He's with Tyler here. He's with him here. Okay, hold on.
So we're just heading back to the vehicle, put on the other cameras, and we're just gonna make some tour and walk through because Tyler wanna see how safe it is. So we're gonna leave all our valuables and we're gonna walk up and down because Tyler said he wants to see. And I'm telling him that if you want nobody to have nothing in Jamaica, you're good. You can walk up and down and things like, especially in all public areas and things. But if you go inside of a community like that, and they don't know you, they don't know what you're about.
So it seems to me like they talked about him going to get some food. I gotta rewind a little more.
Hour flight from Miami, you could always come back, but that's right. Yeah, you're right. We got the tour from the king of the hood of all hoods in Kingston, right?
That's it.
So I've been told.
See it there? So yeah, massive, we're downtown Kingston with Tyler. Massive. So we just
okay, this right here is when they split up.
See it there? So yeah, massive, we're downtown Kingston with Tyler. And we don't know, big up to all massive from Tivoli. It was just great. It was a great energy as well.
So, okay, so this is the point when Vince said that they split up, right? But I can't see that part. Tyler had the footage, but I can't see the exact part where they split up. I just don't know how far away he was from him. Basically, I feel like I need the original footage, not sped up, to figure it out. Like, was he like 50 yards away? Or because people keep saying he's 50 yards away, but I don't know. Yeah, I can't figure out how far away he was is the problem. Well, Tyler's back here. It seems like they did split up. The big thing for me is like how far away they were from each other, basically. But I can't really tell. How do they know he's 50 yards away? Well, you could see in the footage, basically, if it was here, but I just can't tell. Someone else is going to have to do a cross-examination of this.
Crossfire. He's no shot and can't walk.
Crime and violence, sometimes we just need that for stop. Just the crime and violence.
They'll shoot each other?
Yeah. Thing is just different now, and it wasn't like this before. As you can see, it's like it's a cemetery.
Vince also cuts out any of the good vibes or positive moments. We met
What's up,
this
Bushido? Happy
entire
New Year's.
self-sufficient community. We're in the ghetto, but everyone's super nice. All right. Boom, boom, tsh, boom, boom. In trench down with my boy. Because his goal is that when I reach out to someone from a different city, they Google my name, find his video, and they find out I'm just some big bad liar trying to paint their community as negative. Look at this comment and tell me anything he's done thus far is in good faith. Why did Tyler fabricate the story of the Jamaica bank truck robbery? Vince is referring to this beryllium truck I pointed out for 1 second in my Jamaica video. Bullet holes on that thing. When we saw a beryllium truck, that's the equivalent of one of the trucks in the US that carries the cash. The beryllium trucks are these big black armored trucks that are often used in Jamaica to transport cash. My guide, Jamaica Walk By, was the one who actually told me about these trucks because there was a large problem with people shooting at these trucks and robbing the cash from inside of them. If you Google Jamaica beryllium truck, you can find countless articles of these trucks getting robbed from the local Jamaican news. And here's a clip of even my guide jokingly saying he's afraid about being around these trucks because of the reputation of them getting robbed. That's what you're talking about. Keep on. There's bullet holes on that thing.
I am pretty still terrified about the whole thing with the beryllium.
This is probably a 2-second mention in my video, but Vince's goal is to establish that once again, I'm lying about dumb, random stuff to create this false narrative of there being crime in Jamaica. It's a known problem, and I'd venture to guess he in fact knew this after doing his research. You'll notice he
I mean, it's definitely a known problem, but you did say there were bullet holes in the truck and that it was about to get robbed, which was, I mean, seemingly not true, at least from what you said.
Himself and his attention to detail.
Maybe it's slightly nitpicky, but I still think it's a point.
Yet this somehow slipped him. The very fact that these cars are known for getting shot and robbed at. Ultimately, this is part of Vince's growing argument that I'm inventing tiny lies to create a false narrative of there being crime in places where it isn't.
That's how bad it is. People are robbing the cars. They're robbing the bank cars. That's how bad it is here. Why do you have to...
It showed up for 2 seconds. Yeah, but like when you have that and he's saying like, oh, there's bullet holes in the truck. And then you also have him like faking him getting mugged. And then you also have, for example, him being in front of the restaurant saying it's clearly a brothel. Like all these things together are clearly going to be painting a certain narrative about this place, right?
Lie about that. Why do you have to make up this insane narrative? Oh my God, there was a robbery in place and I was about to... That didn't happen, Tyler.
For someone who spent 4 months hyper-analyzing everything I've ever done, you'd think they'd also Google Jamaica beryllium truck robberies to at least look into the point I'm presenting of these trucks being robbed. But no, he calls me a liar, says the bullet holes I mentioned on the car is actually due to a paint job. None of this exists. I've just made it all up. But as we know, Vince's bad faith, poorly constructed...
But are they bullet holes, though? Like, can you at least address that? Like, you say there's bullet holes. I don't think they're bullet holes. It looks like paint scraped off, right? Like, once again, like, you can try to make this point after the fact, and you can try to elaborate on it after, and like, oh, well, there is some truth to it, but you literally said that truck's going to get robbed, right? I don't think it's being super pedantic to be like, why'd you say there are bullet holes in it?
Argument has one goal, which is to discredit me, attack my channel, and prevent me from working with people in the future. Why did he fabricate the story of a Christian seafood restaurant selling sex for $15 and being a brothel? Let me explain. 1. I asked my guide how much the prostitutes in the area we were in charged for sex. He gave me a number that roughly converted to $15 US.
How much for one night out there? I'm not so sure. It all depends on which one you go to. I should think maybe like 15 bills for real, 2 grand a night, or maybe 2 grand per 3 hours. I honestly don't know.
20-30 bucks.
Yeah.
2, we were driving through this area called the Back Road, basically a little red light district where many prostitutes are working the streets and where they take their clients back to these little love hotels.
Back Road. That's the real life of it. You can't get more realer than this. That's exactly what's there. The motels are there, the rooms are there, the prostitutes are there. Young, old, middle class, everybody's there, bro.
I asked my guide if it was a hotel. He said yes. This is where people go to have sex?
Yeah. You probably can just go at the gate and just catch a look quick.
This is a hotel?
Yeah.
The pirate ship? Alright, this is where some of the ladies get taken to go have sex in. Let me hop out for 1 minute, Blake. Really? This is one of the hotels where the ladies get brought to have sex with the customers, the Johns. It is called the Pirate Ship Seafood Restaurant. I guess that's just a front, or seafood restaurant by day, prostitute brothel hotel at night.
So Tyler just walking around, sees this restaurant and sees that the lights are on and assumes that, oh my God, that's where all the people are getting in there, man. It's just grimy. It's a brothel. It's the dirtiest place you've ever seen. Yeah, that's where it's happening at. Tyler, this is a Christian catering restaurant that does weddings. Why the would you just make up a lie about this?
But I do want to establish a clear difference between me just inventing a lie and throwing this restaurant under the bus with no context versus me misunderstanding a quick little back and forth between my guide and then expanding upon something I didn't fully understand.
But, okay, that's not really a good excuse, though, right? It's like, oh, well, the guide said that this area has that, and I expanded upon something I didn't fully understand. Whether or not you intended to, you still slandered a local business, right? You still jump to a giant conclusion about that business. This is like if you're driving through town, right? The guy you're with is like, oh, this is kind of a bad part of town. You see a chicken restaurant. You go up to it. You're like, guys, this chicken restaurant is actually currently selling guns in the back. They're selling guns that have the locks taken off, so they're full auto. I don't know if you guys know this. That is happening in there. You have to understand that is the case. Like this is bad journalism, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. This is absolutely bad. Like you explicitly say, oh, here's the name of the business. Here's what the name of the business is. Here's where it is. Did you know that guys are getting in there? Like this is a direct lie, whether you like it or not. You can say it wasn't intentional. You can say I misunderstood, but you're still slandering a business. That part should be taken out of the video.
Watching it's embarrassing because I clearly don't even know what I'm talking about. It was not my intent to throw this restaurant under the bus, and I legitimately thought it was a brothel. On the bright side, my viewers only left 5-star reviews and said Tyler Oliveira sent me here. I apologize, I f***ed up, and it's been deleted from the video. Why did he...
Okay, well, it's good he deleted it from the video. That is good. I still think that that's... If he does that again, he should be called out for it. But it's good that he took it out of the video, because that is, like, horrible. That is like straight up slandering a business publicly.
Hide the fact that his 9/11 truther expert he brought on believes Israel blew up the World Trade Center. I never hid that. I never even knew that before Vince's video. And we mainly discussed how he thinks 9/11 was a false flag and how he believes it was a controlled demolition. But I'm sure there's plenty of other stuff he believes as well that would be equally controversial in Vince's eyes. How did you come to the conclusion that 9/11 was a false flag?
For the first 10 years, I did not think anything other than the official narrative. Then, after being shown a close-up video of building number 7 coming down, and that got me going because it's obvious to me that building 7 was a controlled demolition.
With that being said, I want to use Vince's point here to address a more important point.
I'm curious, what about the point where he said that this guy was like an on-the-ground first responder, chief of the fire department or whatever? He said that in the video and then just doesn't acknowledge that here. Like, I don't know. If you're saying you're an investigative journalist, but you're not even background checking the conspiracy theorists you have conversations with, I feel like that's probably not a good thing, right?
And theme he presents throughout his entire video, which is that if I platform or give a voice to someone in my video, I am endorsing it, co-signing it, or treating it as a matter of fact.
Now, this whole video is based around Tyler just asking questions.
But it's not that you're like necessarily co-signing it or treating it as a matter of fact. The problem is that you promote it and then you don't even provide any adequate counter argument. Like, it's not like you're getting like both sides of the situation accurately. You're like, oh, let's go talk to this one guy who said the Israelis did it. You know what I mean? Like, it's too many mistakes for it just to be like, oh, whoops, slipped on a banana peel on that one.
Eating the cats with no evidence to back it up. Now, this is a common tactic used by conspiracy theorists. So, Tyler, let me ask you a question. I heard your mom was sucking some dong for $50 at the bar, and I had a good friend of mine tell me that they saw her in the car sucking some dong.
Vince, come on, man. Bringing up your mama jokes at 33? Vince, keep my mom out of this, and I'll keep your wife out of it, okay?
I can tell you an insane
I mean, in fairness, your mom is not a public figure that anyone can look at, but okay.
conspiracy theory based on no evidence, present it as a question, and it almost gives it some validity.
And this is simply not true. In his video, he mostly spends time looking at my video where I went to Springfield, Ohio, when Twitter was in uproar trying to figure out if the Haitians in Springfield were
I like your mom jokes, and I am 38 years old.
actually eating cats. Point being, Vince only shows interviews in his video that make it appear as if I'm co-signing racist ideas, wild beliefs, etc., etc. Aliens built the pyramids? Do you think it's possible George Bush did 9/11?
Wait for me right now.
Oh!
Who are you afraid of at night?
Men.
Which men? Men in general or specific types of men who come from different places?
Like men.
If he was black, would you guys date?
I mean, that was an extremely leading question. You can't deny that. Like, that was literally, what kind of guys? What kind of guys are you scared of? Is it black guys, maybe? I mean, not black guys, but a certain color of guy who's not a white guy. And you say Italian guy. What kind of Italian guy? Like, it was clearly a very leading question.
Bonjour. Point being, Vince will selectively only show you one side of the groups of people I interview and not show you the others.
Depuis 10 juin 2024.
How did you get here to Charleroi?
Bon, m'arrête dans Charleroi parce que m'gagne un papier nan même qui temporaire. Immédiatement temps pa m'nan écoulé, sa gouvernement mande ya, c'est li m'a fait.
All right.
Yeah, now that all the immigrants have gotten here, guess what? You're getting new stoplights.
Say hello, they'll smile to you. I don't know how many times I still sleep with my doors open.
Okay, interesting.
And I've never had to worry
Oh, this is the cat part, right?
about it. It's more the Americans, and I'll bring back the park again. You go over there on Saturday and Sunday, you see the Haitian families, mom, dad, kids, using the park exactly for what it's.
Nobody's eating dogs and cats here. The Haitians aren't bothering us. There's not 4,000 Haitians here. Maybe 1,000, maybe. That's really all. They're good people.
Sure.
They're all working. They're going up to a school up here to learn English.
Ironically, we may have found the most accepting, loving town in America. And so I ask you, how can I both co-sign this answer and this answer in the same video? I heard there were rumors of Haitians eating the neighbor's cats and a Canadian goose. Is that true or completely false?
Non,
No?
même pas.
Ok.
Nous pas au courant de ça.
Okay.
Pas quoi ça tout. Peut-être moun qui doit avoir un problème d'éducation.
But I feel like the problem here is like you're interviewing people who are, so like, you know, with the Haitian immigrants or whatever you're interviewing, right? You're interviewing people who are affirming something but in the negative, right? They're saying this didn't happen, right? They're saying I haven't seen it happen. But then for the people who say it did happen, you're not providing any contradictory evidence, right? Like all these, like for example, that one guy who's like, I saw an entire van of people, right? You could have easily just gone to the cops and be like, did you see a police report or something? Is there anything, you know, is there anything good there? Is there any evidence of this happening? But you didn't do that. And I feel like that would have been a good thing to do.
Qui fait ça même pas quoi.
We've lost a whole bunch of cats. There was a van pulled over that had over 100 cats in it with the Haitians. They said they was eating them.
True or no?
No.
No, okay. Why is everyone coming here?
Haïtien vini ici pour
Like these guys are saying something didn't happen and there's no evidence for the thing happening. Therefore, there's not a lot of questioning you have to do for them, right? But I think pushing back a little more on the guys who are saying it did happen is probably in line with what you should be doing.
Mais manger chat, non.
Or is it possible in these videos that I'm actually trying to get answers from both sides of a given question and try to see what they both believe in? I chose to respond to Vince's video for a few reasons. 1, how factually incorrect it is. 2, how unoriginal the claims are. 3, how emotionally driven these commentators become in their ambition to destroy me. And I've chosen to respond to this because I've witnessed in real time talking head streamers who take videos like Vince's, nod their head while they eat cereal, agree with everything, and move on to the next video, cementing false claims as fact, especially when they perceive the creator at hand to exist within a certain half of the political spectrum. None of these streamers are going to fact check anything, and Vince will not retract any of his claims. Listen, I want to welcome good faith criticism and for you guys to use the comment section to let me know when we do make mistakes. I'm not trying to shy away from the fact that we have made mistakes and we will probably continue to make a few mistakes going forward. And it's unfortunate that Vince and other people like Vince waste their opportunity to give us actual constructive feedback and turn their personal frustration into a 50-minute hit piece designed to stop us from working with people in the future because they don't actually care about giving me constructive feedback. They don't like what we show, and they don't want me on YouTube. Whether it's these types of people.
So I'll probably push back against that to an extent, because I don't think these guys don't want Vince on YouTube. I haven't seen anyone, I mean, that I've seen, I don't know, as far as Papa Gutter, maybe Destiny did it, I don't know. Destiny's been giving some takes lately, for sure, but I don't think that Vince ever advocated for him to be banned or anything. I think that the biggest problem with Tyler's videos, as Vince pointed out, is misrepresenting certain events, trying to bait certain answers with leading questions, not investigating the claims that people make, and instead just seemingly taking it and being like, oh, that's crazy, moving on, right? You can say you're showing both sides, but when you're just interviewing people on the ground, that's not really good journalism. Like, what you should be doing, frankly, is interviewing people on the ground and then trying to fact check and, you know, question both sides of these takes, right? And there's not just like, what does this guy say? What does this guy say? It's actually trying to dive into the claims and say, like, okay, are Haitians actually eating cats in these places, right? As far as the B-roll, I am glad that Tyler acknowledged that. I think the B-roll was an important point for Vince's video. The thing I'm more concerned about is definitely that hotel. You know, Tyler says he misunderstood it. He says he removed the part of the video, which is good. But if he does something like that in the future, I think that's going to really, really make me question whether or not he cares about these issues. And right now, I am kind of under the belief that Vince got some points wrong. And I think that the problem with Vince is probably that he was somewhat emotionally charged going into that video, and that's why he made the points about racism that aren't really going to hit with Tyler's audience or anyone outside of that for that matter. I didn't really care, you know. The thing I care about is more direct misrepresentations of the specific issues, right? So I do think that Vince did seemingly, with a particular claim about the guide, I can't tell with that right now, but let's just sidestep that, right? With the restaurant that was supposedly a brothel that clearly was not, Tyler did misrepresent that. He seemed very eager to paint it as if it was a brothel. He did slander a local business, undoubtedly. And frankly, I think that if CNN had done that, I think Tyler would probably be relentlessly on them, which they should be, but he would not be forgiving them. But he expects to be forgiven by his audience for that, right? It's a myriad of small mistakes and fabrications, but they add up to a larger whole, which becomes disingenuous. I would agree with that, yeah, for sure. CNN would never admit mistakes. Well, I mean, they have to issue retractions, generally speaking, or they end up getting sued, which has happened. Like with that, with the Covington High School kid, right? The Christian high school kid. You remember that guy? The biggest point was the brothel, which is mid. That is absolutely not mid. That is a horrible thing to do. To slander a local business. If I had gone up to some local business, would you guys not? And I said that there was a brothel being run in it with no evidence, would you guys not be like, what the fuck is wrong with you, and stop watching me? You probably would. I would have a huge issue with that if someone did that. That is a disgusting thing to do. It is slander. I've called out so many people for slander. That is on the same level of Nick is not green claiming that Super Mega did things that they did not do with no evidence. That is the same exact thing. It is jumping on a point that you're eager to prove for sensationalism. Slander and then be like, sorry guys, I didn't do my research. Yeah, that's not an adequate excuse, frankly. So I think that Vince's video was not as hard hitting as it could have been. I think that because of that, Tyler was able to hit on a lot of points here, and why wouldn't he, right? And he did have some decent rebuttals for some of them, but at the same time, like, you know, if you're asking who I think is doing better, I would probably say Vince.
People calling me Hitler or calling me racist or assuming malice to any and every tiny mistake we make, at the end of the day, these people are simply uncomfortable with the harsh but unfortunate realities that we do show. I've only been doing this journalistic documentarian work for the last 2 years. All I ask is you give us some time to adapt and grow into the responsibility that it's become. Anyways, Happy New Year's, everyone.
Well, maybe that will happen. Maybe it won't. I don't really know. Hopefully it does. Hopefully, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think Tyler's going to respond past this point. So hopefully he does change these things. I think that there were some major issues. As far as Vince, I think that hopefully this is a learning experience as far as making quote unquote exposed videos, because, you know, like Turkey Tom in chat said, right? A lot of people who try to do these content cop type videos, they kind of miss on the fact that there are a lot of things you don't necessarily need to include, or there are points that you could probably leave out, which would make your argument a lot stronger. And ultimately what this allows Tyler to do is hit on a lot of those weaker points and show that, you know, some of it was kind of like whatever, right? They were both dorky with it. Yeah, they were both a little dorky with it, to be honest. And I like Vince, but it was a little bit. Saying they're mad about what he's showing is ridiculously self-righteous. The dude makes clickbait. I mean, yeah, of course. Well, he's trying to paint it as if, like, people don't like what he says because he's showing the truth of these situations, right? And that's why they don't like it. Vince's video sucked ass. It definitely didn't suck ass. It wasn't 100%. I'd say it was like 70% good. It did not suck ass whatsoever. If you think that, you're just being dishonest. But at the same time, I don't think that his video was perfect, and there are a decent amount of things that are like, eh. The racism part was the worst point in Vince's video, not because Tyler is or isn't racist, because it doesn't really contribute to the broader point, muddies the waters unnecessarily. Yes, completely. 1,000%. We'll see where Tyler goes from here, I guess. I expected Tyler's rebuttal to be worse, but he actually had some decent points. But they wasn't like a knockout of the park, you know? But neither was Vince's, frankly. As far as convincing Tyler's audience, you know. Tyler will be fine. I think Vince will too. It's just a stalemate. Yeah. I don't think either of their audiences are gonna I don't think that most of the people that watch the Vince video were Tyler fans, and I don't think most people that watch Tyler's videos are Vince fans. I'd say it's kind of a stalemate in the situation. That's my interpretation. Tyler Oakley. Did I say Oakley? I meant Oliveira. Lol.